30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Can run the 40 faster than Tom Brady. He got a perfect score on the Wonderlic. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Unfair, unbalanced, a distinct advantage. The Kansas City Chiefs already have the field tilted their way. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Mandalay Bay Convention Center. We are so close to Super Bowl 58, but Perloff, now we've got Field Gate.
Wait, is this the Super Bowl of excuse making? This is way too far.
Well, we'll tell you what we're talking about, which is the 49ers practicing at UNLV throughout the week, which is outside of Las Vegas, where there was an issue with their field and with the turf on the field. So the NFL tried to fix it and brought in a new turf. But as you'll hear from Kyle Shanahan yesterday, while they had a quote-unquote normal practice, here's how Shanahan described the field.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to change the whole schedule up. We'd have to go too early in the morning, mess everything up. So this is the best choice we got.
Are you satisfied with that choice?
We're here, we're practicing on it. I mean, everyone has their preferences and wish things were better, but we'll deal with the field how it is.
I wish things were better. That's basically a coach launching like a grenade because
What?
you can't say anything more harsh than that. Clearly, they're ticked off.
Why can't they say anything they want? It's a practice field.
Well, because they already had the 21 experts signed off on it, according to Roger Goodell, and the NFLPA signed off on it. So your language has to be a little coded here. But I think you read between the lines and you go with the Adam Schefter report from earlier this week on McAfee. I think the 49ers are legitimately chafed about this, and they have a right to be. The Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders facility. It's, perfect, pristine, obviously close to what it's going to be for Super Bowl Sunday. And meanwhile, the 49ers are out in the middle of nowhere practicing on a bum turf.
This isn't croquet. This isn't ballet. This is football. Football, Maggie. We're talking about grown men getting on a field of grass and mauling each other. Are you telling me the fact that the practice field's a little soft is going to stop a team from playing their best in the Super Bowl? That's a ridiculous over-excuse.
Listen, you're still salty about the field last year in
by
the
way,
Super Bowl.
That is an issue. That's
Okay.
an issue.
Okay.
That was a major NFL history-altering issue. This is the practice field is too soft?
Okay, but here's the thing. At least last year when the Eagles and the Chiefs both had to deal with the slippery field, they both had to deal with the same conditions.
But that neutralized the Eagles' biggest strength, not the Chiefs' biggest strength.
Okay, but again, it's like playing in cold weather. A team might be better at it, but both teams have to play in the same elements.
Yeah, but both
this
teams
is
aren't
different.
No, but that's not apples to apples. The Chiefs were not built the same way. When the offense had a big advantage on that slippery field because they knew where they were going. The defense could not react, and the Eagles' defense was the better unit last year, so they couldn't get that pass rush going. The Chiefs didn't care at all about the slippery field.
Okay, nonetheless, this is a disadvantage, even if it's mentally, for the 49ers. You have a guy in Nick Bosa who tore his ACL at MetLife Stadium a few years ago and blamed the turf. It's not the same type of thing, but you have this in the back of your head. I don't know how Shanahan said they had a normal practice, but I don't know how you go full speed. How is it not at least weighing on you when you're a few days away from the biggest game of your life?
No, you're just buying into the bulletin board material of the Niners. Do you really think this changes the balance of the game? First of all, I see it more. The Chiefs have been coddled on this nice little practice field by the stadium where the Niners are building identity here. This is not going to affect anything. If anything, I honestly hear this. I'm like, ooh, okay, the Niners are going to come in angry, and that's a good thing if I'm betting the Niners.
Okay, so give them a mental edge. I think it's not, because you're trying to make this week, and we're talking about Kyle Shanahan not happy about the practice field that they're on at UNLV, whereas the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders facility, which has no issues whatsoever. You are trying to keep this week as quote unquote normal as possible. I know it's not going to be. It's the Super Bowl. The players aren't naive to that. But in terms of your practices and your walkthroughs, you want to keep it as normal as possible. And if there's anything lingering back of your mind, top of your mind about the practice field, it could alter it. How many times have we seen in the Super Bowl unique plays, things we haven't seen all year that a team tries, onside kick coming out of halftime, Philly special, all these unique wrinkles. If you don't have a chance to practice that fully, or there's any shade of doubt leading into the game,
oh my God,
does it alter the game in a big moment? It might.
If on Sunday night anybody points to that practice field, they're just going to get killed. Once again, we're talking about football. This isn't a fourth grade play where everything needs to be perfect. There's nothing perfect about football. If anyone even remembers this down the road, I'd be shocked. But first of all, it's practice. There's no way, and 100 things are going to happen on game day. There's no way anyone's going to remember this. I don't think. I mean, when you write the book, because also the Niners can't make that excuse after the game because it sounds soft. Wow. If they play poorly, everyone's going to be killing Kyle Shanahan. You can't be like, well, we didn't have a great practice field.
Well, that's why he's saying it now.
But he's not
he
really.
Won't say it after.
But he did say anything. Where was the there in that quote? He's like, well, it's not ideal. We don't want to move earlier.
Well, you couple it with Adam Schefter earlier in the week saying they're ticked off. And Shanahan's not going to come out and make this the big story, but he's telling you without telling you. I see what's going on here. You guys came in today. You look like, what did the cat drag in today? You've got
Vegas.
A food hangover for the ages. Now, you guys both don't drink, so it's not an actual hangover. This is tomato sauce. This is cheese. This is veal. I don't know what else you had. Alfredo sauce. You guys are you're crawling into the studio today.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just because I have a 50-page book of prop bets from the Westgate covered in marinara sauce.
I know.
I have no idea. Like, what other Super Bowl host said, do you arrive in the morning at 3 a.m. with this?
You guys were at such an authentic Italian restaurant. I'm surprised you didn't just leave and, at some craps table somewhere. You're both wearing sunglasses today. I mean, this hangover, the lights are too bright in here because you had too much pasta.
This is a legit, you want your back against the wall restaurant. Like,
I was going to say, you're lucky you're not in the desert somewhere.
This is a legit Italian restaurant. No, it's called Piero's. It's this old school Vegas restaurant, and the owner took EJ and I up to the room. Tell him about the pictures in the room.
The pictures had pretty much any famous person you could think of in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
JFK is the one that jumps out to me.
JFK in the restaurant?
Yes, in the restaurant.
So these pictures aren't just, a headshot. I wrote away for a headshot and they signed it. These are all celebrities photographed in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Sinatra, every sports star ever. It was also the go-to place for Jerry Tarkanian, the famous UNLV coach, and who knows what was going on there.
Well, I mean, there's been multiple documentaries about it.
They had all these 1991 UNLV signed basketballs. It was, and then this also had sort of the entire Sirius NFL XM crew was there.
Oh, cool.
So there's football players wandering around and mobsters and restaurants and meatballs.
Allegedly.
Meatballs and ravioli. No, there were actually no real mobsters, but it was guy stuff, Maggie. It was Rat Pack stuff. I felt like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. They just bring me another plate of ravioli.
I mean, how much did you guys eat? I got to be honest. Like, a food hangover, I get it. Food coma. But this was hours ago.
I'll be honest, you're lucky we have a rundown for this show. Because I got to that room and I just stared off into the distance for 20 minutes being like, it's either going to be a coma and I won't wake up till 6 a.m., I'll miss this show, or I'll do some kind of work here.
way to power through.
That was the hardest rundown I think I ever put together.
But since we're honest with the audience, can we give the flip side from my interpretation of Maggie? I basically finally got the Bradley Cooper call at about 5:30.
We bleeped up.
Perloff, Bradley Cooper from The Hangover. Perloff, I think I screwed up.
I'm sorry.
If you were a cell phone battery, you would have been it. Maybe the thinnest slice, 1%.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, Andrew, I am in bad shape.
I know. I was oversharing information with people that they just didn't need.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was so tired yesterday. We did like a 20-hour day. And listen, I'm not complaining about it all. And you guys are amazing, obviously, but I have to wake up like a full hour earlier than you just because I have to get ready, and that's not the excuse. I'm not Kyle Shanahan braving the practice field. Yesterday was just so long, I couldn't hang.
If you woke up an hour, we were still up an hour early.
Yeah, exactly.
We were walking in the lobby. Yeah. So
I couldn't hang yesterday, and I'd see people, and they're like, "How are you? I haven't seen you for so long." I'm like, "I've been up for 20 hours. I need to go to sleep." So I had to bail on dinner. I know. I feel awful. But now that you guys are like basically army crawling in here with marinara sauce still on your shirts, I'm glad that at least somebody got a few hours of rest.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I feel like we have a problem because yesterday was about how terrible friends we are for not bringing you out to your favorite restaurant.
Know.
And there we're going to the restaurant where we're seeing signed pictures of Kobe Bryant and all these amazing people, and we're getting a tour of where Sharon what's her name?
Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone is thrown down the stairs and
by Joe Pesci. In the movie
in the movie,
Casino.
and literally this is the spot where it happened, and nothing.
Yeah, we're like,
and I had a headache.
No, EJ and I
bailed.
we went into it with the right attitude. We're like, we have an early call time. We're gonna do this, and 20 minutes later, we're in some back room eating meatballs with a guy looking at genuine pictures of Frank Sinatra and hearing stories that blow your mind about celebrities in Las Vegas. And then all of a sudden, we're looking at the clock, and we're like, well, forget the early call.
Are you going to make it to the show at
Bring
all?
another round of bolognese.
There you go.
I'm surprised you guys just didn't play through.
And by the way, we totally screwed up. I had a box of cannolis for you. And
They ate them?
I have no idea where they are.
Things were crazy. There was Parmesan cheese everywhere. You were blinded.
And a legit question: can you be hungover without drinking?
I'm witnessing it right here.
I've learned yes. I've learned.
If you want to watch this monstrosity, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio, where the lights are too bright this morning for EJ and Perloff wearing sunglasses.
Our friend, afternoon producer of the Zach Gelb Show, by about midnight Eastern, Mike Samter has got his belt undone. He's sitting back with somebody, arm in arm, singing Sinatra.
Piano Man or something?
Yeah, and it's like, another round for everybody. And it was a scene. It was really, really cool.
Samter goes from producer to life of the party real
Oh,
fast.
my God.
Oh, yes.
It's like doing
you
a lap
think?
at a Grand Prix. It's like all of a sudden, here was Samter, head down, doing work, and then you look over and... he's 2 glasses of Chianti in. And
he was sending glasses back.
He's sending glasses. Yeah, she's like, I don't know if this is for me.
This isn't for me. A little too smoky.
And then there's Zach.
Too smoky.
And Zach Gelb was there, and so they're like, "Are you sure this isn't too much food?" And Zach is gigantic.
Yeah,
so,
Jack's a good.
and I'm
Zach's
a big eater,
dude.
and so it was plate after plate. Sorry, but we missed you. We
Yeah.
actually,
You know what? Listen, yesterday I gave you guys grief. You went to my favorite restaurant without me.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me you were going there. You went to the Vegas Knights game. I had to go meet up with a friend, and you did all this cool stuff. I will say I voluntarily had to back out of this one. I'm jealous, kind of, but I got 5 hours of sleep last night,
nice.
and I feel like I could run the Boston Marathon right now.
Actually, early in the night, we did say, it'd be cool if Maggie was here because it was a really fun table and you had added to it. By the end of the night, I was like, who's my co-host again?
What do I do for a living?
Yeah, it's like I've got too much vodka sauce now, just like sprinkled on my brain. Well, I mean, thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah, we made it.
I did miss the call time, by the way.
Well, it's okay. I got you coffee. I think we're ready to go. I think.
I know we're in sunglasses and Advil. This is more like a sunglasses and Parmesan deal right now.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're watching our video, I was responsible for carrying the Elvis doll over.
Perloff walks up, and it just sounds like shards. I'm like, wait a minute. Did our souvenirs break?
Oh, my God.
R.I.P. Elvis for the second time. Oh, man. Well, you want to watch the show again, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. We say good morning to our CBS Sports Radio affiliates, who we know probably feel the same way about great Italian food that we do. We say good morning to Sirius XM Channel 158. The free Odyssey app is a great way to find us as well. I mean, how long does it take for marinara to work through a system?
We're about to find out. We're about to find out real fast. 'Cause we got 4 hours of this show. Oh, my gosh.
I can't wait to go out later when it's actually the weather's supposed to get a little nicer today. It's been raining in Vegas, and the heat and the sun finally hit you guys, and you start sweating, and it's just pasta fazool.
I'm not eating again the rest of the trip. I don't need to. I'm fine.
All right, 855-212-4CBS. Kyle Shanahan being critical of the practice field, saying, wish it could have been better. You got to read through between the lines here. Couple that with an Adam Schefter report from earlier this week saying the 49ers upset about the practice facility at UNLV and presumably how much the Chiefs have an advantage. They don't have to worry about this. They're practicing at the Raiders facility. Doesn't matter. Does Shanahan have a right to be ticked off? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I'm going to get EJ and Perloff a little water. Maybe a little espresso.
Pepto-Bismol.
I don't have any of that. We'll find you a little Alka-Seltzer or something.
Yeah, some antacid.
Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff in just moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. ...45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff, Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and it is our pleasure to welcome in Buffalo Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid to the show. I got to go full disclosure on this one. The audience knows it. Everyone's going to be thinking it. I am the diehard Buffalo Bills fan on this show. I live and die with this team. Yeah. And so, Dalton, it's great to have you. I can't imagine, quite frankly, what the season would have been like had you not been drafted by the Bills. Once they made the coordinator change, I don't know if this seems like not a coincidence. You really took off. What changed?
I think it's just kind of, as the season goes on, you gain the trust and confidence of more people. You also get a better understanding of how the game's played, and just the experience is really invaluable because you kind of gain confidence in yourself as the season goes on as well.
Dalton, were you surprised on draft night when it ended up being Buffalo? I don't know how much you had talked to them beforehand. We all had you to Dallas in mock drafts, and then the Bills move up and get you. Did you see it coming?
I did not, to be quite honest. I still remember, looking at my phone, and if you don't have the number, it kind of pops up with maybe blah blah blah.
And it was maybe Orchard Park.
Yeah, it was like maybe Buffalo, and I was like, no way. I was like, maybe I answer it and it's somebody else, but yeah, it was awesome, and I really can't imagine being anywhere else. Just with the people in that building from top down are all really stand-up humans, so it's a special place to be.
Awesome.
Dalton Kincaid joining us, and it's on behalf of Procter & Gamble P&G Battle of the Paddles. So we love ping pong around here. We're excited to get your thoughts on that. You're doing some cool things. We'll get to that in a moment. So you get drafted to an all-in team, right? The Bills have been so close. They're going to need you. Does it change how you approach things? I mean, you basically lived a whole NFL life in one season. So many things happened this year to the Bills. If I asked you, tell me what 2023 was all about, how could you even describe it?
It would be difficult to describe. I'd say a journey, if anything. But just a lot of experience this year, but having a very vet-heavy team, you learn a lot. So I think it's just kind of being present and taking in as much as you can from, even vets on the defensive side of the ball. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Von Miller, Tre'Davious White. All those guys are really just shedding their insight and knowledge. And then on the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot of people named as well, but just really taking it all in and just being in the moment.
What's something that Von Miller can teach you or tell you that was really valuable?
He actually had put me in contact with Travis Kelce pretty early on in the year because my jersey was too saggy. So he put us in a group chat and was like, you need to wear whatever pads he's wearing. You need to get his however his jersey's tapered. You need to have all of that.
For real football reasons, not fashion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so the defense can't.
So you can't get grabbed onto running into routes. And just really the confidence that he puts out towards me is pretty cool to see as well, especially from someone of his status. It's I was a fan of Von Miller before I was a friend of his, so it's pretty cool to see all of it come full circle.
So Josh Allen, how is it an adjustment to catch a ball from Josh Allen? Honestly, if he threw it at me, I would run and hide. But because I know you played with good quarterbacks in college, but nothing like that arm. Did it take some time to get used to?
A little bit.
Yeah.
He definitely put some zip on it, but he can also throw that ball a quarter of a mile if he wanted to. So I remember being in college telling my quarterback, you could never overthrow me running routes. And Josh has that and some. So yeah, he can definitely let that ball fly. So it's it's special to play with him. The best quarterback in the league, in my opinion, and what he does and how he impacts the game. And, as long as you have Josh Allen on your team, you have a chance.
Dalton Kincaid is joining us on behalf of P&G, Battle of the Paddles. Of course, he's the Buffalo Bills tight end and just finished his rookie season. What's Josh like in these moments? I don't want to go back to a painful one, but playing against the Chiefs, you guys were playing. The game plan was perfect, right? It really was. That final drive you end up having where you're going down, attempting the game-tying field goal. What's he like in those moments on the field? Can you take us inside the huddle of what it's like to be on Josh Allen's team at that time?
He's confident. He has, no doubt, anytime we're out in the field that we can drive down at any moment and get points. So you want that from your leader. That's who you look towards in those moments. And it gives you confidence in those situations, knowing that your captain and your leader of the offense and who's in command, has belief in everybody.
When people say he runs too much, he puts too much of the offense on his shoulders, as a member of that offense, how does that make you feel? How do you internalize that?
Quite honestly, it just makes you play harder. Seeing him run down and break 3-4 tackles, and you're just like running and stopping, and you don't know how he's still moving forward. It just makes you play harder, and want to play harder in other moments of the game. So it's an example he sets for the level of effort you should play with, and intensity and passion, and you just really try to replicate it.
Dalton, you're a pretty big guy. If you're an opposing safety, who would you want to see coming at you, Dalton Kincaid or Josh Allen?
I would be probably more intimidated with Josh Allen coming at me, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
It is very rare that you would say that. You take the quarterback over the tight end. Stephon Diggs, the relationship, from the outside, it's hard to figure out, quite frankly. What's he like as a teammate? Do you guys spend time outside the facility together, doing that team building stuff?
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about him. How the media and his relationship is, I'll just kind of leave it at that. But he is an awesome person and a leader on our team in situations, on the field. He's rooting on the defense. I don't know if he ever sits down during a game, honestly. He's walking over to where the tight ends meet, letting us, know what he has to say, and he's encouraging us. He's encouraging the defense all the time. And he's just passionate about the game. I love being his teammate and playing with him because it's a lot of fun. And again, that's someone you would never expect to be your teammate and become a friend and have confidence in you. And it's cool because that gives you a lot of confidence. Knowing one of the best receivers in the league is believing in you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It sounds like maybe you were a little starstruck by some of these guys at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you over it now, or are you still like, wow, pinch me? That's Stephon Diggs and Von Miller and Josh Allen.
A little bit of pinch me still. But at some point it will probably get normal. But it's still, to me, is being a little starstruck playing with those guys.
You kind of were the go-to guy in a playoff game. I think you have reason to be okay in that situation.
Listen, the Bills were playing must-win games for over a month, basically. Yeah. It was wild. Okay, P&G, Battle of the Paddles. Are you as competitive in ping pong as you are in football?
The issue with me is I'm competitive in everything I do.
Gotcha.
Super happy to be out here with P&G playing table tennis from their second annual tournament.
Have you stretched? Because I got to be honest.
There'll be some stretching beforehand, absolutely.
This is the type of thing when you're a fan of a team and you see that person's going to do something else athletic, even like ping pong, I'm like, Dalton, stretch, hydrate. Nothing can happen to you this offseason. We can't have a ping pong injury that's going to derail the offseason program.
You watch the YouTube clips where guys are 10 feet from the table.
I've been doing a little bit of tape. I don't know if I'll have that in my game, but definitely excited for it, looking forward to it. And in preparation for P&G Battle of the Paddles, P&G and Lowe's are serving up some big deals. Through April, you can receive $10 off by spending $50 on more on P&G products like Bounty, Charmin, Swiffer, and Tide at Lowe's.com. So very, very grateful to be out here performing, competing in this.
Yeah, right. It's a competition.
Oh, absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence, he's in the conference. You got to take him down.
That reach is a problem.
Lowe's.com/PG, buy 50, get 10 for more details. And it's funny, you're actually from Las Vegas. Las Vegas and Buffalo, same. Now, a lot of people have said Buffalo is the Vegas of Western New York. So
Dalton, can I tell you a little bit about our prep for this? I go to Maggie. I'm like, we got to ask about the hair. She goes, what about the hair? I'm like, oh, my God, it's famous. You know, he takes his helmet off and brushes those flowing locks back. She's like, that's not a thing. Have other people ask you about your hair on the sideline, or am I the only person noticing this?
I don't know if I get that. I think, Trevor Lawrence is someone you look to for that.
Yeah, I thought
Dawson's got the flow going.
Maybe I got it confused.
Yeah, he's got the curl locks that let go back.
You did a little bit of the brush back. No,
I had a little bit of it, but Micah Hyde had told me midway through the season, get a haircut. So once I got that, it became a weekly routine.
Dalton, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have fun with the Battle of the Paddles, and we appreciate the time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And now we turn to our pal Andrew Bogish, who's standing by with some headlines. Hey, good morning, Bogish.
Good morning, everybody. Those headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $750 on average. Call or click today and find out if we could save you hundreds on your car insurance. Get those excuses out. Dry heat, soft practice courts, general fatigue, or maybe their all-star center being out. The Sixers lost again last night, 127-104 at home to the Warriors. Head coach Nick Nurse.
We got to play and fight and be in games ugly, then so be it. And I think they came out with another gear in the second half and just ran right past us.
Golden State won the third quarter 43-23, the 23-point final margin, their second largest of the season. The Sixers now 4-12 without Embiid.
Bogus, you're not going to mention that we held Steph Curry to 0 points in the first half?
The Pistons weren't losers for a change last night. A 133-120 stunner in Sacramento. Jaden Ivey scoring a career-high 37. But the Wizards did lose again to the Cavaliers, 114-106. They're now 9-41, the worst 50-game start in team history. And then we have the Hornets now on a 9-game skid thanks to a 123-117 home loss to the Raptors. We all remember Steve Clifford's first stint as head coach so fondly. The second act is not going as well.
Let's be honest. I mean, it's why I was brought here, and to this point I have failed pretty miserably, is we don't care enough about defense all the time. We're better than we were in some ways, but we're what do they say? We're a sometimes team. Sometimes we run back, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we care about guarding the ball, sometimes we don't.
Sometimes Perloff comes to work dressed like the Unabomber. Sometimes he doesn't.
Listen, it's a marinara hangover, Bogish. These guys were out eating Italian food until late night. This Steve Clifford sound is so fugazi. I mean, he's like, it's my fault that these guys don't care about defense. It's basically you are blaming yourself while you are absolutely blaming your team. If you're like, it's my fault that I don't have the guys ready to play. It's my fault that I have the wrong scheme that's not fitting with my talent. We all know that defense is a lot about buy-in, unless he's talking about the scheme, but it's about buy-in and effort. And so he's calling himself out, but really calling out the team. I see what you're doing, Clifford.
It's Super Bowl week. What the heck are we talking? What is happening right now?
Also, I have watched about 45 seconds
Charlotte has
of
the
a
Hornets back.
game.
What's going on here?
Did Steve Clifford
Did you just
never
do
leave?
a long rant against Steve Clifford's post-game press conference?
I did.
You see what's around us, Maggie? What is going on here?
Well, he's been doing these random press conferences where he's been saying these weird things. Before, he said, yeah, we have a talent deficit on this team. I'm like, he doesn't care about just burying his team the last 3 or 4 days. This has been a trend for him.
This is how is this setting up? Steve Clifford wants to come to Vegas to see the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
He's doing everything he can to get fired in time to get out here to see Taylor.
Yeah.
Not that far away.
You know who else doesn't care? What are we talking about here? I can't believe we're breaking down the Hornets. I don't understand.
I'm sorry, you're in a Parmesan coma. It's okay.
No.
It's a trade deadline today, by the way. So maybe the Hornets get decimated.
And it's a trade deadline, and the Lakers and the Warriors might make a move. And we're talking about Steve Clifford's lack of defense.
Listen, do you want to talk about should Doc Rivers be coaching the All-Star game? I'm here for all of it.
Oh my God!
Going back to the Sixers not winning a game since Embiid got hurt. I mean, what do you want to do?
Yeah. No wonder I don't want to talk about NBA. But this feels like, I mean, there's so much going on. We have Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. We're doing Steve Clifford right now.
Yeah, we got Dan Marino coming up next. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to all of it.
Do you think he knows who Steve Clifford is?
That's a hard no.
Big red dog.
Does Dan Marino know who we are? We're going to find out next.
Well, that's a hard no.
What else we got, Bogus?
P.S. I'm absolutely with Bizarro Perloff here because when I saw the rundown, I said, Steve Clifford, huh? All right. Here we go. Let's introduce him to America.
EJ,
EJ likes the NBA and makes the rundown. That's
no.
No.
This is a penne alla vodka, Alfredo veal combination that has got everybody's brain scrambled on this.
Listen,
set.
when I heard the sound last night, I thought it was awesome. But I was in my post marinara sauce, post shrimp scampi coma. Hearing it back, it was still great, but not as great as I
But where did you hear it? Who was covering Steve Clifford last night at all? Was he watching Bally Sports Asheville? I don't understand.
No, he did it as a selfie, actually. He just was talking into his own camera. He's like, I'm just going to go ahead and film myself for this press conference and put it out because I got to get fired if I'm going to make it out here to Vegas for this Super Bowl.
But, I mean, he definitely is playing the room correctly because in the NBA, like, guys get fired for sneezing the wrong way. So he's saying, I failed my team. Like, he's on the clock at this point.
Playing the room, there's 4 college newspapers in that room.
Empty chairs.
No, playing the room in terms of knowing how to get yourself fired. You're saying, this is a sport where you sneeze wrong, you'll get fired. He's saying, I failed my team.
Honestly, what I would do
begging to get fired
if I owned the Hornets, I'd be like, I'm not firing you ever. I've got you on a lifetime contract. Actually, quick story. I have once interviewed Nelly, the rapper, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he was a minority owner in that Charlotte franchise when Michael Jordan still was the owner. And before Michael Jordan bought it. So then Michael Jordan buys it, and Nelly's like, I'm going to cash out, and I'm going to get all my money back. And Michael Jordan talked to him and said, no, you can't leave. And in fact, we need more money. And he was like, okay, go. I know.
Let's do some happening here.
Listen, we're going to get to the football.
Nelly's ownership of the Hornets.
We've got Marino coming up.
Here, I'll give you some football. Joe Thuney, Chiefs guard, did not practice yesterday in Vegas. They are still holding out some hope that he can play through a pec injury on Sunday.
Oh, wait, sorry, Bogish. We had the sport. If you're really into like sports on social media, did we not have the celebrity sighting yesterday? And I forgot to tell you, I saw him again, and he stopped and said hi. Dr. David Chow, the Twitter doctor who's always giving everyone the worst news about your favorite athlete's injury on social media. This is a little bit of a deep cut, but he stopped, and then later he was walking with his girlfriend or wife or whoever it was and stopped to say hi again.
Yeah, he gave us updates on...
And he talked about Joe Thuney.
He talked about Joe Thuney and...
What did he say about Thuney?
Can I say what he said, basically?
He ain't playing.
The main football move he has to make is push off his right hand, and that's exactly what his injury is prohibiting. So he basically said, don't expect him out there.
Yeah, and he also said that about the Aaron Rodgers injury, he said that the groundbreaking Achilles surgery that he had, this new cutting edge thing, he's like, this has been around for 15 years. I'm not really sure why it became this massive thing.
Because Rodgers had it.
Well, yes, it's new to Rodgers.
He's made it that.
Yeah, Rodgers is one of those guys where it's like the news never happened unless he's heard it.
Andy Reid, the Chiefs coach, did actually talk at length about Thuney not being there and Allegretti's role as a guard, but we were too busy scouring the bottom of the NBA standings for sound bites to actually pull that.
I mean, who needs an offensive line? It's only the Super Bowl.
I am really disappointed with the way my Hornets are playing defense.
Some college hoops now. Gino Auriemma and UConn steamrolled Seton Hall 67-34. Auriemma joining Tara Vanderveer, and Coach K is the only D1 coaches with 1,200 career wins. On the men's side, Michigan surprising number 11, Wisconsin 72-68. The Wolverines had lost 5 straight and 10 of 11. And Blue Jays first baseman Vlad Guerrero Jr. wins a record $19.9 million in salary arbitration. The player is now 6-2 against teams this offseason with 10 cases still pending. And finally on ice, Nick Foligno scored for Chicago. Marcus Foligno scored for Minnesota, and he got the win 2-1. But there is good news for the Blackhawks. They'll host the NHL's Winter Classic again against the Blues at Wrigley Field. The league has not decided yet on a date for the game. They might move it to New Year's Eve instead of New Year's Day to avoid CFP quarterfinals. Guys, back to you.
Andrew Bogish, thank you so much. In the chat, if you want to watch EJ and Perloff a little banged up, it's not an actual hangover, just a food hangover from the amazing Italian restaurant you guys went to last night. I had to bow out of that one. In the chat, Roxy, one of our favorite Weedos, said celebrity sighting equals a Twitter doctor? ? I mean, no.
Super Bowl week.
Okay, by the way, Jerry Rice walked by with him too. I mean, we can drop a lot more names, but
Pat McAfee.
For people like us, Pat McAfee came in hug James Brown during one of our interviews.
I think we need to recalibrate. You know the expression "hair of the dog." If you're really hungover, you have to drink more alcohol to kill the hangover. I think we need more meatballs on set because I think
a plate of spaghetti to get through this hour.
Yeah, we need the hair of the dog.
Call Piero. See, they deliver.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do breakfast veal.
Yeah. That is a good point.
Veal parmesan for breakfast.
You're
my God.
Put an egg on top. It's breakfast.
What is going on here? Yeah, that person's exactly right. Maggie, you're like so excited. You're Super Bowl week. I've been with you. You've seen 10 A-list celebrities. You're like Dr. David Chow.
Well, I got to tell you.
You're still blushing.
I know. It's like, Dr. Chow, you told me that my favorite athlete had sprained ankle. Grade 2.
Tendinitis, big boy.
I know. Well, we had a funny moment yesterday. I think I have a moment to tell this story, which was, so Zach Gelb, who does the afternoon show, is in real life good friends with Deion Dawkins, the left tackle for the Buffalo Bills. They were both at Temple together, and Deion comes on his show all the time and does a great job. And so as they finished up their interview, I've always wanted to meet Deion. We had Benny the Butcher, the famous rapper from Buffalo, who's friends with him on. And I know one of Deion's, one of his trainers for the Bills, I'm related to through marriage. So I want to go over and say hi and, make these connections. So I said hi, and I said, hey, I know so-and-so, one of the trainers with the Bills. And he goes, no, you don't. I go, yes, I do. I'm related to him through marriage. And all of a sudden he takes out his phone and he starts FaceTiming this person. He's like, I'm calling you out. And so
was he serious?
He was kind of, is Deion Dawkins ever serious? He was kind of joking around. It was funny. And all of a sudden here's it's my sister-in-law's sister's husband, so follow that trail. And there they are at their house, with their 2 kids. I'm like, hi, here I am with Deion Dawkins. It was very funny. And we had a great conversation. And Deion Dawkins dapped up Jerry Rice in the background of this video. Is that a better radio roast story for you?
It's pretty good.
Better than meeting Dr. David Chow.
I would say while I was happening, Perloff was talking to Michael Pittman about horses and farms.
Oh, yeah.
And while we were waiting to interview him, and we saw you with a FaceTime, and Perloff's like, is he making a social video? What's he doing? I was like, I have no idea.
I was talking to some of my distant relatives on Deion Dawkins' phone.
But more importantly, the Wizards coach is unhappy with his pick and roll last night.
Can you name the Wizards coach who's the interim coach, by the way?
Is it Wes Unseld Jr.?
No, he's
Did
out.
He get fired?
He got fired.
Shoot.
It's not a Bickerstaff, is it?
No, he's in Cleveland.
They've gone through the whole family tree of Bickerstaff.
Even I'll pass on that one.
Wait.
Wait, Bogusch, do you know?
I know his last name, I think.
Who is it?
I'm pretty sure his last name is Keefe. Whether he's Brian or Brad, then I'm out, but I'm pretty sure his last name is Keefe.
The Bryans, the Brads, the Chads, and the Dads, like Taylor said. Bogusch, thank you. Okay, coming up next, you want football, Perloff. We've got Hall of Famer Dan Marino on our set. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It is always our pleasure to be joined by one of the greatest, Hall of Famer Dan Marino. If we did the whole introduction, Dan, we wouldn't have time left for the interview. Okay. Thanks for sitting down with us today. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
You know, I would love to be a fly on the wall, and here on behalf of M&M's, by the way, we'll get into everything going on with your Super Bowl commercial.
Okay.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for conversations you have with Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, because he is a unique dude. Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
Usually it's just stuff in passing and just having fun, but not a lot of football at times. And just he's a fun guy to be around. He likes to make fun of himself and also get along with the players good that way, as far as having a good sense of humor. So he's been great for the team. I really think so.
We talked a lot about the Dolphins this year. To me, the injuries, I mean, that's a significant amount of injuries. I know there's no excuses, but can a team really overcome on both sides of the ball, the offensive line and all the defense?
Well, I mean, that's an excuse, yes, you're right. But up until like the last month of the season, we were fairly healthy and felt like, the team could beat any team in the league.
Yeah.
I felt it was good enough. And then as time went on, you get decimated with injuries and stuff, and you're not the same, and it just didn't work out this year. But I think the team is moving in the right direction, and Mike stays positive all the time, and I think it's great for the attitude of the team.
The Hall of Famer Dan Marino joining us on behalf of M&M's, the Almost Champions Super Bowl commercial, Almost Champions ring.
A ring plus the commercial, yeah.
Amazing.
And it's for all those guys that almost won championships, so we're making fun of ourselves. And Bruce Smith's one of them, Terrell Owens, and then,
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yes, that's what I was getting ready to say. Scarlett Johansson.
I noticed her in the ad.
Yes. Oh, so you did see it then. Okay.
We saw it.
Yes, the custom 14-karat gold ring made with real lab-made diamonds. I mean, you guys are really doing this thing up. Was this something you wanted to sort of embrace, or did they have to convince you to do this and talk about the different
I have
ring?
no problem embracing this because, the Super Bowl I was in my career has been over a long time, and you just accept the fact that I didn't win it. But this was cool because it was fun with the players, and the fact that it's in jest and it's M&M's and it's a comfort food. Who doesn't like M&M's, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be fun to do and have fun with it, and we did, and it'll show in the commercial because it's a good one.
Dan Marino is joining us, the Hall of Famer, on behalf of the M&M's. You got the Almost Champions ring, along with Bruce Smith and Terrell Owens. You also have the Super Bowl commercial, which is really cool. You just mentioned Brady. There was maybe an alternate universe where only a couple things go differently, where he's playing for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, that could have happened. Would that have been, exactly what Miami needed, or was the avenue with Tua and how he's grown with McDaniels, was that the way it should have been?
I wasn't a real big part of all that, and after the fact, obviously, it didn't work out the way the Dolphins wanted it to. The way it should have been is the way it's been, I think, and you kind of go from there. So it's a tough call because things happened, during that time.
So Tua now, kind of a crossroads. Here we are, and he's on the verge of, well, we're not exactly sure what. If he signed a contract extension, it could be the highest contract the Miami Dolphins have ever given to a player. Would you feel comfortable giving him, say, $200 million?
I wish I could say that was my decision. I think they should pay him, but it's not my decision. So I'd rather not really comment on that, other than the fact that he's a very good player. He's played really well. He's the number one passer in the league. Bunch of touchdowns this year. We just didn't win that playoff game or get deep into the playoffs. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about him, getting paid a lot of money.
All right, your former coach, Don Shula, all-time wins leader. Bill Belichick, handful of games behind him, but is not getting a coaching job this year. How important is Shula's record, do you think, both to the Miami Dolphins family, and do you think that what you know of Bill Belichick, is he going to try to find a job so he can break it?
I think that obviously he was trying to find a job. So not necessarily break the record, but just win games. And Coach Shula, I think it's important to him. It's important to the Miami Dolphins, and what our history and what we've done. Undefeated team, the winningest coach of all time, a couple Super Bowls. That's important to us as a group. It really is.
Hall of Famer Dan Marino, just a few more minutes. If you had Tyreek Hill as a receiver when you were playing, finish that statement.
Well, we could have had a lot of fun together.
I bet.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to me, he could catch it 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and be gone, and throw it long. Is he the most valuable non-quarterback offensively around right now?
Yeah, if you see the numbers he puts up, he's a terrific player. The best part is he works hard all the time. He's a leader. All those things that you want in a player. It's Tyreek.
For some people, having a Super Bowl commercial would be, one of the highlights of your life. You've done so many things. Does this still give you a thrill, or you've done so much, Dan?
Yeah, everything. When you're doing this kind of commercial, it's a Super Bowl. 200 million people are watching. It's with guys that I know. It's a fun thing. You're making fun of yourself, and it's in a way that's lighthearted. So it's great. I enjoy it.
I have an issue with your product, though. Peanut butter M&Ms. I opened
peanut butter, yeah. That's the peanut. That's what the ring's made out of.
Yeah, I open one of these. I'm going to eat both these bags in 30 seconds.
Ahead,
I cannot stop. No. I'll open it. My mouth will be full. I have to wait till after the interview.
You can go to mnms.com/Super Bowl. That's where you can see this really cool ad. And Dan, it's always our pleasure to be able to talk with you. Thank you so much. We'll tell Boomer you said hi.
Good. Tell him I said hi.
Thank you. The Hall of Famer Dan Marino.
Maggie, this is sort of your specialty.
Yeah.
Question. Who is the greatest player to never win a Super Bowl. When you ask an NFL fan that, what's the first name that comes to mind?
I mean, Marino is the first name that comes to mind. I mean, this is the thing about Jim Kelly versus Marino. Marino played much longer.
Yeah.
He won MVP. Jim Kelly never did. I mean, I think Kelly is right there, but I think people remember, Marino as maybe the better pure thrower. Jim Kelly was in the K-gun. It was revolutionary in the way they were moving up and down the field. But Marino gets, because of the stats were so gaudy, he gets remembered as the greatest quarterback to never win.
Yeah, Marino's top 5 or top 10 on every quarterback list. Jim Kelly's, I think, a tier below for sure.
Yeah, and then as far as greatest player of all time, I mean, maybe it's Dan Marino. Greatest NFL player, I mean, Barry Sanders as the greatest to never win.
Randy Moss is another
one. So they're leaning into it.
I know, because I think that is not the easiest title for Dan Marino. You could tell.
Yeah, I know. Still a little salty. Okay, coming up next, he was the darling of this season, breakout star of the NFL, Puka Nacua from the Los Angeles Rams, is going to join us next on the set. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's destined to get knocked out by Jake Paul. She's destined to film it. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. We are here with the Pro Bowler, a rookie season for the ages, Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You were just talking about your newfound celebrity here. It's like hard to leave the house sometimes in LA because fans are recognizing you now. It's a little different, right?
Yeah, definitely not the same as it was at the beginning of the season.
Well, everyone is now claiming credit. Oh, I knew Puka Nacua was going to be so good. We knew. And I'll tell you why we knew. Because Jim Nagy, the director of Senior Bowl, came on right after the Senior Bowl. He's like, I tell you, this kid is going to be special. How did that experience sort of elevate you into the draft and the momentum you just got going?
Yeah, I sadly I got hurt out there at the Senior Bowl, but that first day was so fun. I had so much fun. And being able to compete against the best guys in the nation and to prove that this is where I belong. The Senior Bowl is where the best of the best show up. So I was so excited to showcase my skills. And sadly I got hurt, but it gave me confidence to know like I belong. I've been playing football since a young age, but it gave me the confidence like, hey, I'm in the right spot.
Have you seen the video where Sean McVay and Les Snead are talking about you on draft night? That's pretty cool. So Sean McVay clearly saw something in you. What's your relationship with Coach like?
Coach is the best. I get a sup bro sometimes text from him, and that's just the best because he's the young guy, and he's still Coach. I still call him Coach McVay. And he's like, hey, you can call me Sean. You know that. I mean, we're
that's a good impression.
We're a little bit of friends. I was like, oh, but he's the best. He's so his energy and the passion that he has for football and for our success is undeniable, and it makes being in the football facility so great.
Puka Nacua is joining us. He's the Pro Bowl wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams. You know, people throw around words like genius for Sean McVay and this offensive innovator. You're actually getting coached up by him. What is something that he's done where you're like, wow, that was impressive. I've never seen something like that.
I guess just some during our walkthroughs, his ability to explain something for everybody and be like, okay, let me show you why we're doing this. And when you line up in this formation, this is going to dictate the defense to do this. And then when I move you 2 yards to the left, the defense is going to react like this. But I'm also doing that so you can run this route or you can fit up on this block. And I'm like, Coach, I just moved 2 yards. But he's like, it just the presentation of everything, his ability to explain why. And then he's like, okay, so now we move 2 yards. Now we can run everything from here. And now we can run out routes. We can run out his a football genius is exactly how it is. In the walkthroughs, you think we're talking about one play, and he's been going at every detail, every alignment, every step, every eye progression from each player, and it was just one play. It might have been a run play. The one I'm thinking about was a run play, and he went on for, it felt like an hour. It was like, hey, everybody's progression, where the 1-2 step, where you needed to be, where the back was going to be, how the defense was going to react to what we were doing, and it was all spot on. So he is a absolute football genius.
So you started producing early in the season. Did you think to yourself, oh, I can do this all season long? Did you ever expect that someone was going to pull the rug out from underneath you, or did you know that you could have this kind of rookie season?
I definitely didn't know I would have this kind of rookie season. Having confidence in myself, and I think of the guys around me, I give a lot of credit to this guy, number 9. But Matthew Stafford is one of the best to do, and his ability to have confidence in himself. But the ask that we ask him to do in our offense is a lot, and he takes it on, and he makes my job so easy. And he definitely was able to, when he spins that ball right, I'm like, man, I'll be able to be out there and catch it.
Puka Nacua is joining us from the Rams. He's joining us on behalf of Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. Get to that in just a moment. It was funny because Stafford, is a seasoned veteran in this league. Early in the year, his wife came out and said, it's hard for Matt to bond with his teammates because everyone's so much younger than he is. You're 22 years old, so you would count as one of those guys. How did you guys overcome that? Did you start to do things to really begin to bond? Try to get to know each other?
I feel like one thing I know I try to do, when I try to put myself in the Breakfast Club. I didn't get an invite to the Breakfast Club. I just kind of showed up, and they didn't kick me out. So I was like, oh, maybe I should just keep showing up then. And so luckily enough, they never kicked me out, never told me to stop coming. So I just kept showing up, and kind of built that relationship. We were talking ball and obviously trying to understand the nuances and build that relationship and connection on the football field. But we're also in there all day, and we spent a lot of time together. So being able to understand what it was like for him being in the league and me being a new guy, and so us trying to build a deeper relationship.
Who's in the Breakfast Club? And is it donuts, or what are we bringing to the breakfast?
Shoot, I wish. Those guys eat pretty healthy, so they're on a different
they're older.
Different diet than I am. They don't enjoy McDonald's as much as I do. But, Breakfast Club, Matthew Stafford, Cooper, and the quarterbacks. Some of the coaches. It's an open room, so the coaches, all the guys are always coming through. But Matthew.
What time in the morning are you getting there?
Oh, I'm getting there at 6:30, maybe 6:45, in between that window. But Matthew and Coop, I know they're there probably maybe 5:30. Like they're there long before. By the time I get there, normally that's why it's a little bit of the cooler conversations. They're telling me like, all right, we already have this installed. You kind of know this. They give me the real precise cut up of what they've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah. What have you learned from Cooper Kupp?
Patience and building routine. Patience and a routine. Those are two of the big things. Patience in your route and patience in understanding, and let the defense kind of develop your route for you, and then finding that routine. I think of how much that influences everything I do kind of off the field, with having a good sleep routine, having a good a nutrition routine, a good lifting routine, and just trying to find the things that work for me.
Had he been giving you advice from the day you got there?
From the moment I walked in, before he was even at our OTA practices, whenever the rookie showed up there before, he had sent me a text saying, "Man, I love watching your routes. Like, you're doing a great job. Keep your head down. Keep working." So it was before I'd ever met him in person. And my receivers coach coached me in college, and he coached Cooper Kupp as well. So I had a Zoom call with Cooper, and I'd been a fan. So it was so funny. He texted me just out of the blue saying, "Hey, I see what you're doing out there, and keep working." So that was another thing it's just a boost of confidence. Being like, I feel like I'm in the right place.
Not all wide receivers might be that gracious. It's because there are a lot of big personalities that play your position. Puka Nacua is joining us on behalf of Sleep Number. You just mentioned your sleep, your routine. You can't really go out much now because you're a big celebrity and people are going to want photographs and stuff like that. So what Sleep Number are you, and how many hours of sleep are you getting a night?
Now that we're in the off season, my hours of sleep have definitely gone down. But during the season, 9:30 was the latest I was going to bed, and I was getting 8 hours at least every night. And I'm a 45 sleep number. My girlfriend is a little bit firmer. She's about a 55, so she likes a little bit firmer. But I'm a cool sleeper. I can put my side on the freezing cold temperature. I get really hot when I sleep, so having the cooling thing has helped my sleep, because I would wake up a lot during the middle of the night. So I've knocked that bug out of my way, and I sleep great now.
45. By the way, I could never sleep with Puka. 45 is way too short.
I don't think he invited you. I don't think he invited you to sleep with him.
Well, we could get dual sides.
That is true. We heard your necklace was a gift from Aaron Donald. Now, we're on radio. We're also on video. But for those who can't see, describe this necklace.
I don't even. It's my first chain. It's got a number 17 on it. It's got some of my rookie records and stuff on the back.
Oh, wow. With the Rams logo, the records. That's cool.
It is sweet. This is my first chain. Shout out to the GOAT, number 99. It was such a sweet. I mean, being able to build a relationship with him, and just to be in the same locker room with him, it's weird to say. Like, not weird, but I was playing with one of the best football players of all time. Not only in the defensive position, but to ever step on that field. And he texted me. He said, "Hey Puka, this is AD. Let me get your number. Know where you're gonna be. I got a gift for you." I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting a panic." I'm like, "I'm not home. I'm so sorry, AD. Like, let me make sure I send you the right address."
Man, he's not going anywhere. He's not retiring. He flirted with this a couple of years ago, but he's all in, right?
We're close to the championship, so I hope he doesn't leave us.
There you go.
Puka, you play so physical, by the way, but you're such a nice guy. I think I could. I'm not afraid of you. I feel like I could fight.
I don't want to be scary. No.
Yeah, but you play scary. It's interesting. You do not shy away from contact.
No, definitely not. I'm the younger brother of 4 older brothers. I have 1 younger brother, so I did get to beat up on somebody. But all those times I got to be the tackling dummy, and I was thrown down the stairs and stuffed in the dryer for no reason. Like I enjoy those moments to be physical for sure.
I saw it, Maggie. You don't think I could tackle Puka?
I don't think you have the same sleep number. I don't think you can tackle him. I don't think you could tackle any of his brothers. I don't think you could even probably hold a candle to his mom. I'm going to be honest. Not in the same category. Puka, thank you so much on behalf of Sleep Number. We appreciate it, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you so much.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free. It's sponsored by AutoZone all season long. You could listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone. AutoZone, the free AutoZone Fix Finder service, can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Turning back to the game.
Yeah.
It feels like there's been a little bit of a sea change. Now, granted, we're talking to a lot of media, a lot of former players and current players, and while the Chiefs were the early team, how could you give Patrick Mahomes 2 points in a big game against Brock Purdy and the 49ers? I'm telling you, I think things have come around full circle where now the 49ers have become, they are technically the favorite of Vegas, and I think people are looking at them that way.
Yeah, well, think about the timing. Everyone bet on the Ravens at home to beat the Chiefs. Everyone, at least I did, and they got burned by it. So afterwards, I think everyone said, I'm not going to get burned by Patrick Mahomes again. I'm not going to hit that button to bet against Patrick Mahomes. And then the Niners were not really delivering on their spreads at all. But as time has passed, I think people are looking back towards the regular season more and saying this is recency bias. Let's look at the whole body of work.
Okay, and here's a question for you also. Now, one of the big maybe things I'll be looking for early in the game, and I think a lot of people will be here, is how is Brock Purdy going to look in the moment? You know, against Green Bay in the first half and kind of through 3 quarters, he really didn't play a great game. Of course, it was raining very hard. And obviously, against the Detroit Lions, it wasn't a great game, but it was a great comeback that he led. How does he handle the big moment and the nerves? I got to be honest, that's not the only position or person I'm worried about in this game. How do we think the Chiefs receivers are going to respond in this spotlight? Now, looking it up yesterday, the Chiefs receivers had an 8% drop rate this season.
Yeah.
Now, that might not sound like a lot. It's more than any other wide receiver group in the last decade by a full percentage point. So it's notable. They've been good these last couple of games, with especially MVS against the Bills and then against the Ravens coming through with some clutch catches. Do they have 3 great games in a row?
I'll tell you right now, I'll bet you that drop rate is dropped through the season, and I know why. Think of the Ravens game. Did they throw the ball more than 4 yards downfield at all? How can you drop?
I mean, Kelsey obviously has been the standard,
the
stalwart.
But
This doesn't affect him.
I don't think they don't throw downfield to the receivers at all anymore, which might be a problem in itself. But they fixed that problem by throwing nothing but short stuff, except for the MVS pass at the end of the game.
Right.
There wasn't a single
and
long
one
pass.
good Rashee Rice down the sideline, but that was more Rice yards after the catch than it was air yards. Yes.
Rashee Rice had 9 catches and 50 yards.
Yeah.
So they fixed it by basically doing extended handoff pass plays because they don't trust those guys. So I give Andy Reid a lot of credit for hiding that weakness. I think they're worried just about what you say, that these guys are not going to be able to beat the moment in the Super Bowl, so let's throw 3-yard passes. I guarantee that's what's going to come out.
Well, and they really pared down who they're counting on in these moments, because you have, Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, Chris Jones, Steve Spagnuolo is a defensive coordinator. You've got L'Jarius Sneed, these guys. You have real dogs on this team. You're not going to go down in this fight because Mecole Hardman couldn't, handle a swing pass, or because Kadarius Toney does something bonehead. Now, to be fair, those guys were good in the Super Bowl last year. Toney was.
Yeah. Oh, I remember very well.
Sorry to bring it up, but
yeah, but think about it. If you're the Chiefs, you're not going to have Patrick Mahomes sit back there and wait for anyone to run down the field for a long pass because that lets Nick Bosa get in the game.
Sure.
You're going to ball control. You're going to run the Niners run defense. So I think they neutralize the wide receivers' weakness. I don't even think it matters if they're tight because they're not touching this football. I think Andy's going to control the game with Isaiah Pacheco and short passes.
Answer this question for me as we're talking about the game. The Chiefs, a lot of money seemed to be coming in on the Chiefs earlier last week. Now things maybe have swung back over to the 49ers. To be fair, the 49ers have remained favored throughout this by anywhere from 1.5 to 3 points about.
Yep.
Is there any world that we can imagine where Travis Kelce doesn't get off to a great start? Is there any world where the 49ers can dial up something to try to get Kelce out of rhythm? Because that's got to be the key to this whole thing. Now, it feels like no one has done it yet, but is there anything up Kyle Shanahan's sleeve for Travis Kelce?
How many playoff games have we seen this?
I know.
He hits the over in every playoff game. No, I don't see it.
You can't bank on it. I get it, but...
Yeah. Well, listen. The Niners have Fred Warner in the middle, Dre Greenlaw. If any team should be able to do it, they should, but I don't see it. Unless Isaiah Pacheco is the only thing they use. That's pretty much the best bet. There's no way. It's never happened. Why would it happen now?
Well, we talked to Rod Woodson yesterday, the Hall of Famer, maybe one of the great defensive players in the history of the league. And he now does the Ravens games on radio. And we asked about what went wrong in that game and how did Kelce get off. And he goes, I can't understand why nobody was touching him at the line of scrimmage. Kyle Shanahan, I know Steve Wilkes hasn't been, everyone's favorite, but they're not dumb. They're going to try to jam him, and I don't know if it's going to work.
Well, also, what if the Niners say, hey, Chiefs, we'll let you move the ball up and down the field. We know you can't get into the end zone because they do have trouble in the red zone.
Sure.
And the Niners have an explosive enough offense where field goals might not beat them. So maybe they give Kelce a few yards over the middle and just make sure nobody gets over the top.
I know, but you know what it's like with offenses, and we're talking about the Chiefs now, and could the wide receivers for the Chiefs, who have one of the highest drop rates this decade of a wide receiver group, could they be the ones who really feel the pressure? But you know what offense is all about? We talk to these Hall of Famers all the time. Rhythm. Getting into a rhythm, getting comfortable, and that's what Mahomes and Kelce do better than almost anybody.
Yeah. Well, I say that it's about getting a rhythm, and then you say Brock Purdy didn't play well against the Lions. How do you get rhythm when you are sitting there watching 8-minute drive after 8-minute drive? So I agree with you, but it's also about ball control. And I think this game, to me, comes down to who could keep the ball away from the other offense. I think if you have an early Chiefs 8-minute drive, that's going to break the Niners back.
An important injury update. We've got the latest for you and how it will impact the Super Bowl. Do not move. Maggie and Perloff from the Mandalay Bay Convention Center back in just moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Vegas, baby. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Once again, I came down on the elevator today with a bunch of revelers who were still mid-party while we were walking to work. But I got to tell you, I related to them because me and EJ have a wicked hangover right now.
I know. You guys are banged up, and the irony of this whole thing is you don't even drink.
Yeah, we got a food hangover.
Yeah, food coma, hangover, whatever you want to call it. It's just marinara sauce pulsating through your veins still. Is it working its way through the system?
Yeah. Have you noticed as you walk around Radio Row here at the Super Bowl, people are starting to look a little haggard here in
worse
Vegas.
for the wear.
Yeah.
And I was one of them yesterday. And
Yeah.
it was funny. I was having a conversation with Amy Lawrence, who does overnights, and she was like, "Are you okay? You look a little tired." I was like, thank you for telling me that. So I put some more makeup under my eyes and put some lipstick on and got to my next thing.
You are a new person this morning.
I feel great. I'm sorry. I don't want to. First of all, I do feel FOMO, a fear of missing out, because I did miss the dinner. And you guys are talking about how great the food is. You guys know I love food. I wish I could have been there. I just would have been asleep under the table, like when you bring a child to a restaurant and you like put the two chairs together and they sleep like under a coat. That would have been me.
Yeah, you've been in trouble because as great as I love Samter and I love, of course, Zach Gell hosting the afternoon, those guys were in absolute no rush to leave.
And our pal Sully, who was the hookup for the hotel. You guys, if you've been listening to the show for a while, he's been with us for a lot of Super Bowls. He's kind of our body man, sort of helps us out, extra set of hands and eyes and ears. And Vegas is his hometown.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this, but he's best friends with the owner, every single wait staff, everybody who parks a car. You pull up to any building in Vegas now, and he's only lived here a few years. everyone knows Sully.
Well, I mean, that thick Boston accent is incredibly memorable.
Yeah,
so
hard to forget that.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. He has
a good spirit.
It's not that. It's not just that either.
Okay.
He does that sort of this Vegas handshake. I think he's tipping everyone, but he's so smooth that I can't even tell if he's tipping.
He's definitely tipping everyone.
There's some level of being a man that I just have not gotten to.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that he's incredible at.
I want to bring this up also. You're talking about Perloff is kind of like, you're kind of morphing into this different sort of person since we've been here, which is interesting. We leave, first of all, we're about to go somewhere to go see someone. You're like, I'm sorry, I got to bail. I got to go shopping.
Oh.
I'm like, wait a minute, what? You got to go shopping? We've been friends for 15 years. I've never heard you talk about clothes or anything.
Yeah. I was going to save all that for the hour. I was going to tease it.
Oh, okay.
It's a different, I don't know what
Who are you?
No, things have changed. And EJ knows this. I was walking around last night. Now,
Do you have like a shark skin suit? Like, what are we?
Things are changing.
Okay. Things are changing. Sounds like you're going through puberty. What's happening?
Kinda. I entered a new world yesterday. I am a different person.
Okay, tell us what it is. Do you want to say it now? Well, is
I will
Andrew
say it.
Bogish standing by?
I
By the
will
way,
say
I
it.
want him hearing all
Happily.
of this. Thank you.
I was taken by two cool people, and we met a third, sneaker shopping at apparently one of the hippest sneaker shops in America. A guy who we walked in, he's like, "Oh yeah, let me show you who was shopping here last week." He pulls up a picture, and it's someone named Taylor Swift. And
wow, okay.
He's like, he's like, "Oh, here's on my phone," and it's A-list celebrity.
I thought she only went to football games.
Yeah, actually, it turned out it was at the football game, but she's a regular client of this shoe store. It's called Urban Necessities. So I thought I was going to come in there with, Maggie and Perloff show, CBS Sports Radio, and impress him. But immediately it's like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, Mahomes was here, LeBron. I'm like, Perloff does not fit in that way.
Mahomes, James, Perloff.
So I said
the Mount Rushmore of something.
And I said, I want to get into the shoe game. And I'm like, do you have a pair of shoes that matches with khakis and blue collared shirts? And
anything with a quarter zip and some pleats?
And they helped me out. And he put them on my feet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? All of a sudden, I think I'm cool. I walked around like I was cool.
You went from like Steve Urkel to Stefan Urkel. This is what we're watching now. Perloff's a totally different guy. You're a sneakerhead now, and you're hip. You're wearing sunglasses inside.
I didn't know you knew about that. I was gonna put them on and surprise you at 8:30. But yes, I will unveil.
I gotta see the shoes now. The audience has got to see.
You want to see them right now? Okay.
Well,
we gotta see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's raining outside, so I'm not wearing them right now because these I have to treat. But these are more precious than my children at a young age were.
Okay. Meanwhile, our Elvis memorabilia got crushed in your bag. You couldn't have cared less. But the sneakers.
No, I had a choice. Okay. So these are some form of dunks. They have a name that are low Nikes, and they're
pretty smooth.
Those are fire. I can't.
Okay. So the colors on these I would describe as it's a brown and tan and purple.
Yes.
With white laces.
And look at the inside.
And the inside is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I think a Japanese artist did this.
Okay, but no one sees the inside except for you.
Well, EJ, that's not true. The inside matters.
You have there's a symbol here on the back of the heel.
Yeah,
do you have any idea what that is?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
It has a name. Is that like a transformer or something? What's going on here?
What, Decepticon?
You should know what's on your own shoe, man.
I think there's some sort of Asian influence on these shoes.
Okay, yeah, I can see a little on the inside.
No,
it's like a Japanese samurai type of thing.
You have to understand, Maggie. I was so overwhelmed just by being like with younger, cooler people. I had no idea. I was faking it like I knew what I was talking about.
Listen, you're with younger, cooler people every day. Me and EJ.
Well, EJ.
Fair.
This place had a barbershop and a tattoo shop on the top floor.
So what's the tat? Let's show that in the 9 o'clock hour.
Baby steps, Maggie. And then
it's a tattoo of the shoe.
We'll get to that on Friday.
Then I actually said, am I slowly transforming into Sully? So Sully is doing the $20 handshake, and I'm giving $5 handshake.
Listen.
Maybe I'll slowly build my way up here.
There's still the doors will still open.
Yeah.
Wow, well, congrats on this cool pair of shoes and becoming an entirely
different
person.
Am I sensing a little jealousy here? You didn't. You could have come to the store.
I probably could have. Well, I couldn't. I went to go hang out with the BetQL folks over at the sports book with Trista and Ryan and Nick, who do a great job on their show.
Yeah, that's fun.
It was cool.
But also, I don't know how much energy you would have had for shoe shopping.
No, I was not in the mood.
Ironically, and the thing is, I'm already hooked. I downloaded the Stock Exchange app, DJ.
StockX, yeah.
The Stock Exchange.
Yeah, I'm a little
Pearl's
slow.
at the NASDAQ. Just like, can I get, is this where the shoes are?
So I'm wearing sunglasses now because I didn't sleep last night because I was scrolling through on my phone to find new shoes.
You're hooked.
I am so hooked.
Perloff's going to be like one of those celebrities that's the walk-in closet that's only shoes.
Oh, I know. I love it. It's a Maggie and Perloff show, and one of us is obsessed with shoe shopping. It definitely ain't Maggie.
No, it's not.
This is a problem because I actually do care about shoes, but I wouldn't call myself a sneakerhead. I cannot be outdone by Perloff on the show when it comes to sneakers.
Oh,
that can't happen. I'm wearing the I'm wearing the 11s now, and I think I've been outdone.
Wow, your pride, EJ.
So we were at
big hit.
We were at this fancy dinner, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm into shoes, and then there was another shoehead at the table, and him and EJ started speaking another language. And they were comparing the Kobe 5 versus the Kobe 7. I'm like, what's a Kobe?
It's like he made shoes too.
You can put a nerd in shoes, but he's still going to be a nerd at the end of the day. So don't worry, Bogus. I'm not coming back any cooler.
You're like, Michael Jordan? He makes shoes now? Get out of here. From North Carolina, that guy? Bogus has some headlines for us. Good morning.
And guys, this is exactly what the Dallas Cowboys need. Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons definitely don't cause enough drama and hot takes. So let's hire a big-name, colorful, foot-fetished defensive coordinator. The Cowboys have reportedly interviewed Rex Ryan for Dan Quinn's old job. Rexy hasn't coached since the Bills fired him in 2016, but this is not the first time he has flirted with a return. I don't remember this, but he apparently came very close to getting the D.C. job in Denver a year ago. How do we make this happen? Who do we talk to? How do we influence Jerry? How do we get Rex Ryan in that you-know-what bleep show in Dallas?
This is Jerry on Sirius again. I hate to say it. Rex Ryan was a great defensive coordinator, much better defensive coordinator. Well, maybe EJ's Jets, he was a good head coach.
Yeah,
for my Bills, he was never in the building. I mean, that was always the thing about Rex. He was using the private jet to go to college basketball games when, he should have been trying to figure out how to beat the Dolphins.
Wait. Rex Ryan coached the Bills?
Yeah.
I thought that was a fever dream.
No, it actually happened. This is the thing about Rex and Jerry. I mean, who do you go to first with your microphone? This could be the only person who could upstage Jerry. I can't imagine he would let him in the building.
Maybe you bring him in to take some of the bullets so McCarthy doesn't take them. Get the attention on Rex and not Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, but Rex loves that. When the attention's on him, this is the only person, I'll hand this to Rex. He was the only person in the NFL who could make a press conference interesting. These press conferences are generally not interesting at all, and Rex would come in wearing wigs and costumes and all of this stuff. I mean, he has a way of finding the camera.
Well, it's like his dad, Buddy Ryan. Yeah. I used to do the Jets preview for SI and go out to their camp, and Rex actually told me, he's like, I do all this to get attention so the players don't have to do interviews.
Yes, and I did a show with Bart Scott, and he played for Rex Ryan and said he hated that.
Well, because there was Rex Jr., Scott. Bart Scott would find the microphones.
Regardless.
Move over, Rex. I'm going to take over.
This is why he's been successful in his second career as broadcasting. But no, he used to say listen, Bart came with Rex from the Ravens over to the Jets to kind of help set the culture for Rex when he got there. But he used to say Rex would write all these checks that we have to cash as players. And they had success against the Patriots, and got to 2 AFC championship games, but it had the opposite effect of what Rex thought it was having. He thought he was taking the attention, but then the players are the ones who have to make good on his promises.
But it worked to some extent. I mean, they did have playoff success.
No, that's true.
No, I mean, his philosophy was generally, I don't want them writing about my players. I want my players to be able to play. I want them writing about me. The other thing, too, I think you are discounting. He might be a good defensive coordinator. He was in Baltimore.
He won a Super Bowl with the Ravens as a defensive coordinator.
I don't think I don't know.
It's been a while, though.
Pretty decent hire for the Dallas.
I love Rex Ryan. I think he's my favorite Jets coach, but it just feels like you're going from Dan Quinn, a guy who was coaching in the Super Bowl, and then he took over your defense. He had been a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
He had been a part of the NFL community, and your replacement for him is a guy who's been on television for 4 or 5 years. Like that feels like real Maggie. It just feels a little unserious. The idea, maybe Rex is great, but he hasn't been in a locker room or in a meeting room breaking down film with players. the game changes so fast. I would be very concerned about this if I was a Cowboys fan.
Maybe they like this model of a former head coach taking over the defense because Dan Quinn really turned them around. It was Mike Nolan was there before. He was actually another former head coach.
Yeah.
But
That
so
was
it seems like
disaster.
I don't know. Am I an idiot here that I'm buying into the Rex hype that, okay, maybe Rex knows some defense?
I mean, but look how Bogusch even introduced this story. And of course, Bogusch is going to do this with his signature flair. I mean, mentioning the foot fetish, you're like, we have so much with Rex. He's already, listen, great coach. Again, I'm not trying to take away from it, but he has made himself a bit of a punchline at times, listen, everyone's into their own kink.
Yeah.
But he was open about it, and, he's just, I don't know.
I feel like there's so much going on in Dallas. It's just going to add to the circus. So what's the difference?
Well, to me, so the theory I had when I saw this was, he's going to be the interim coach at some point. Like if this thing goes bad with Dallas next year, you don't think this thing can go bad with Dallas next year? I mean,
it could.
Oh, definitely.
A lot can go wrong. And
kiss Belichick goodbye if you have Rex Ryan coming to the building. Good Belichick and Rex Ryan. I don't even know if they would be in the same room together.
I think there's something about if this goes south, Jerry can fire Mike McCarthy midseason, Rex takes over, and instead of Jerry getting all this heat, you'll have this big distraction as a head coach with Rex Ryan doing crazy stuff for 5 weeks, and at least that can get him to the end of the season, and then he could hire whatever coach he wants moving forward. But I saw this and I thought this is almost as much a contingency plan for when Mike McCarthy has to get fired this year as it is about this defense.
Interesting.
Really?
What do we think? Do you think he actually gets hired?
I don't know. I did remember. Rob Ryan was there for a while, so they know the Ryans well.
And Rob is coaching here.
In
Vegas.
The linebackers.
Rob's been everywhere. So I don't know. You could do worse than Rex Ryan.
Yeah,
if I'm going to look at and also he can unleash Parsons to some extent.
Have we talked ourselves into it? First
Yeah,
I was like, it's unserious. Now we're like, you know what? Maybe
honestly,
Rex is the guy.
This is Dallas. I think the unserious level, to get unserious in Dallas, you got to go even lower than Rex Ryan.
Tony Pollard joined us and said that Jerry Jones actually isn't around as much as people think, like day to day. And they said all of a sudden you see the chopper out in the distance coming to land on the big star, but he's not there at every practice and he's not hovering over any of the meetings. He's just there game day to take the credit.
Well, that is
great that he's going to be in draft rooms making trades.
Yeah, but he's not even out of practice.
But it's so funny. That made me realize Jerry probably has not made a draft pick in 15 years.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, because they built the team so smartly. Does Jerry want Mozzie Smith to play defensive tackle to help stuff the run? That's not a Jerry Jones move.
You know what? I wonder if they tell Jerry that the draft's been moved to Wednesday. and he thinks that day 2 is actually day 1. They've already made the pick, and he's like, now it's Thursday. He thinks that's the second round, but it's actually the first round. He's like, the second round, you guys take care of that.
We'll take a defensive tackle. Yeah, who cares? Second round.
It's like, no, Jared, the draft's on Wednesday. Just believe us.
He's all in, Maggie. By the way, Khalil Mack, rumors that he's on the trade block. They're going to do something. You can't just re-sign people and be all in.
That's what Michael Lombardi told us.
I know. You got to bring in a star. That's what I'm saying. I need all in. I need him to deliver on that. Rex Ryan is not all in, by the way. We need all in.
Bogusch, anything else?
Yeah, guys, that's enough football. It's stupid. It's unimportant. And the Hornets are losing again. 9 in a row for Steve Clifford's team.
Let's be honest. It's why I was brought here. And to this point, I have failed pretty miserably, is we don't care enough about defense all the time.
He's going to say it until you fire him. Now, when you have one of the guys named Bridges, one of the Ball brothers, a Martin twin, and Leaky Black, you shouldn't be 10-40. So he's right. You probably should be 7-43 like the Pistons. They got win number 7 last night, 133-120. In Sacramento. No major moves yet before this afternoon's trade deadline, but the Celtics are getting Memphis forward Xavier Tillman for a pair of future second-round choices. Men's number 6, Tennessee, took care of LSU 88-68, and number 9, Duke, bounced back from its weekend loss to North Carolina with a 71-53 decision over Notre Dame. Gino Auriemma joining Tara Vanderveer and Mike Krzyzewski as the only D1 coaches with 1,200 career wins. UConn roughed up Seton Hall last night 67-34. Gino passes Coach K with 3 more wins. And the Hong Kong government is still mad at Messi and Inter Miami because Messi skipped a preseason game in the country Sunday with an injury. Government officials now want to know how Messi got healthy enough to play in Japan yesterday.
We need these guys in the NBA.
Yeah, international load management going on.
Hong Kong ain't having it. We need to get those guys running the league.
Honestly, You don't want to mess with Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I would have played.
They're gangster.
Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, when I tell you this is one of Andrew Perloff's favorite athletes, it might be an understatement. Who is it? They will join us next here from the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It's been a wild couple days here, and I feel like I can just take this interview off because DeAndre Swift is here from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know Perloff has 1,000 questions for the Pro Bowl running back who's joining us on behalf of P&G, the Battle of the Paddles, doing a cool ping pong thing. But Perloff, take it away.
Yeah, DeAndre, I think you were one of the great early season stories coming to Philadelphia. What was it like to come back home to the greatest city,
yes.
at least one of the better cities in America?
It was amazing. It was amazing. A blessing to be able to come back home and be able to play for the organization like that, build a relationship with those type of people in that building, and type of guys on the team. It was amazing. It was amazing.
So you grew up in Philadelphia. Were you an Eagles fan? You know, some players are not into NFL football, but in Philly you have no choice.
100%. I was an Eagles fan.
Who was your guy?
It was McNabb, Westbrook. Me and my grandfather, every game we watched on Sunday, he had his McNabb jersey on, so I had mine on. So yeah, that was our guy.
Okay, allow me from the peanut gallery here because I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm the only one on the set who's not an Eagles fan. I feel like that's maybe a controversial choice, McNabb. I would have thought that it's obviously got to be Brian Dawkins all day. Brian Dawkins is always the answer.
Yeah, I love Brian Dawkins. That was my grandfather's guy. He loved McNabb. Yeah. So it was like whatever he loved, I loved.
Got it.
Type of thing.
Well, Philadelphia's a tough town on quarterbacks. I mean, you see it every year. You know, growing up, unless you win the Super Bowl, someone's going to complain.
100%.
When things kind of took a turn for the worse later in the season, I know my phone was blowing up every Sunday. That must have been tough to watch because there was so much promise at 10-1.
Like it was tough. It was tough to be a part of because it's like we knew we had the talent to be preparing this week. It just didn't happen that way. We just didn't execute. We didn't do what we needed to do to continue to succeed.
Sorry, Perloff, may I jump in? We're here with DeAndre Swift, who is a Pro Bowler this year. Philadelphia Eagles, spent the first 3 years of your career in Detroit. We'll get to the Lions. I'd love your thoughts on them as well. But, you know, when you're in this sort of moment where the season gets off to the promising start, as Perloff said, and then it starts to turn, does it feel like it's like a stone rolling downhill, like it's hard to stop, something that you can't really figure out what's going on and it's impossible to turn the momentum around?
No, nobody ever lost confidence in one another. Nobody ever, not anything like that. We knew what people we had in the building, from the coaches to the players. We knew at any point we could just turn that thing around and be on the other side of it, but it just didn't happen that way.
So we've had a common theme. We were talking a lot about the Ravens-Chiefs game from last week. The Ravens got away from the run. It seems that sometimes teams get away from the run. And, you know, as a running back, when you're either a team you're playing with or you're watching a game, do you ever yell at the coaches, hey, just stick with the run even if you're trailing?
No, I never did that. No matter how I felt about it, I never did it. I'm the type of person, I try to make the most of whatever I am given. If I'm getting one opportunity or 20, I try to make them count.
But if you were a coach, would you, not saying the Eagles, would you run more for most teams? Because when the Eagles were really handing it off to you a lot, things were going really well.
Yeah, if situations like if you're running the ball and everything is working off of that, you succeeding with everything else, I'm running the ball. If I was a coach, I would.
Yeah.
Okay, DeAndre Swift is here. He just had a Pro Bowl season, over 1,000-yard rusher for Perloff's Philadelphia Eagles. If you are not on the Eagles, remove yourself from the Eagles, would you be in favor of having the tush push, or would you not want the tush push in the NFL?
I would. It's the QB sneak. I think the Eagles just dress it up a little bit more, do a little bit different things with it. It's a football play, though. I don't know. I wouldn't try to take it out the game.
But you guys, it's such an advantage. You guys start every drive. You're first and 9 instead of first and 10 like everyone else.
Yeah, you got to try to find a way to stop it.
So, did you find that any team has anyone even tried to have a little success? They try to jump the snap count.
Yeah, they could stop it once, but I don't think nobody's ever stopped it twice. You can stop it once, but twice, I like our odds.
Well, I feel like I kind of worry Jason Kelsey is the key to that because he gets so low.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming he does not play again, what's it going to be like in Philly not having Jason Kelsey on the field?
And that guy, he is the city of Philadelphia. He does a great job with everybody in the locker room, from his leadership to just the respect that he has and commands throughout the whole city, wherever he goes. Even when I was in the Pro Bowl last week, just seeing how everybody, not even fans from the Eagles, fans from every other team, they just love this man. So.
Will he keep his shirt on at the Super Bowl?
I asked him that. Was he going to keep his shirt on? He got something up his sleeve. I'm just put it like that. He got a nice little outfit to put on. I'm going to just keep it like that.
DeAndre Swift is joining us now, spilling some of the tea. We like that. We got something else to look forward to at the Super Bowl. Were people on the Eagles hounding him for information about Taylor Swift?
No, I don't. I asked him one time, did he ever meet her? But no, because we was in the season, so I don't know how he would have met her. But I know he just met her a couple weeks ago when our season was over and he traveled to Travis's game.
The whole world saw how he met her because he met her because he took his shirt off and drank 40 beers. DeAndre Swift is joining us on behalf of P&G, the Battle of the Paddles. We'll talk about that in one moment. Mention your former team, if you'll allow me, Eagle fan. The former team and the Detroit Lions. I mean, you know, what an amazing season, and then to lose like the way they did in the NFC Championship game with the 17-point lead. Do you reach out to guys after that? I mean, how does it feel as a former player to be watching that?
I was rooting for them guys, man. I still have a great relationship with a couple of guys over there. They had a great season, from start to finish. To see how each game it got better, and the mentality of that team. Dan does a great job with that team. So I was rooting for the team. Definitely, I reached out to a couple of the guys.
So Dan Campbell, caught a little flack because he was going for it on fourth down. Even with the lead, he wasn't satisfied just kicking field goals and taking the points. I mean, you played for him. You couldn't have been surprised by any of this. The guys in that locker room, will there be even a crack of the confidence with the coach because his aggressive style may have cost you to get them the game?
Not at all, because I knew it wasn't just him that wanted to go for it. Not at all.
All right, one more question about another former team, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yep.
Is your running back room when you were a freshman, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, is that the best group of running backs any college has ever had?
I believe so. Until somebody showed me another one, I think that's the best one.
What was the practice like just watching those two guys and other guys in the building too?
Crazy. 'Cause I'm freshman. I'm watching these guys, just the way they carry themselves, how they practice, how they go about their business day to day. They showed me what it was to be a pro before they got to the pros. So when they left, I kind of took over that leadership role and everything like that. Those were my big brothers.
How did you get down from Philly to Georgia?
It was I always wanted to go to SEC and do something like people from Philly don't really get an opportunity to go and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to go play ball in SEC. So Georgia was only one of the visits I took, and when I went down there, I just fell in love with the people, the coaching staff, the culture down there. So it was an amazing situation to go into.
Yeah, I mean, you abandoned Temple, no big deal, whatever.
I think they'll forgive him. DeAndre Swift is here. Okay, the P&G Battle of the Paddles. Are you more competitive in football or ping pong?
I feel like I'm competitive in anything I'm doing. It's always the same.
Are you any good?
I'm okay. I think I'm solid. I'm not going to say I'm good, but I'm not terrible. I'm definitely not terrible.
Okay, just the Roger Federer of ping pong, no big deal. And what are you looking forward to about competing? I seen the lineup going against a couple of the guys, but I'm representing Todd tonight with the P&G Battle of the Paddles. They're giving opportunities to the NFL guys to kind of showcase their ping pong ability. So I'm excited.
You're also representing Philadelphia. I want to say
100%.
that. I'm rooting for you.
Okay, Perloff also said, and we'll let you get out of here, and thank you for the time. He said he can eat 4 cheesesteaks in a half hour. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I mean, cheesesteaks, do you ever have enough cheesesteak when you're eating cheesesteaks? It's just so smooth.
I had one last week. I wanted another one the next day, but I don't know about 4 and 30 minutes.
Do you have a spot?
It's a new spot called Taste downtown, but before that it was Ishkabibble's on South Street. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how many do you think you could put down in a half an hour if you had to?
If I had to. Like, is it money on the line?
Pride?
Okay. 3.
How many could Jason Kelsey?
That's a force. I'll be sick after that.
How many could Jason Kelsey take down?
Probably like 5. I like 5.
Easy.
Yeah, like 5 easy.
This will be the next battle of the instead of paddles,
Battle
we'll do
of the
cheesesteaks. We'll make it happen. DeAndre, so you can go to Lowe's.com/PG buy 50 get 10 for more details on everything going on. This sounds like a really fun event.
Yes.
Have fun. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And appreciate you.
Yeah,
DeAndre
Go
Swift,
Birds.
Philadelphia Eagles. This portion of the show is sponsored by the new Hyundai Tucson, available with complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Now it's easy to use your phone to control your Tucson. Coming up, just because we're on Radio Row here in Las Vegas, Perloff, doesn't mean we're not ourselves. It doesn't mean we're not the Maggie and Perloff show. Thursdays at this time, we explore the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the greatest what-ifs and what could-have-beens in sports.
Can't wait. By the way, I do want to apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was being nice to DeAndre Swift. The running back room before him was Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, and Nick Chubb.
Ooh.
That is. And then Gurley obviously moved on to the NFL. Then Swift took over. I don't understand. If you're a great college running back, why are you going to the place where there are already 3 future pros?
Well, in this day and age, you could just transfer.
I mean, talking about all 3 of them would have been in a different school, but that's pretty quick. Can you imagine a practice? Like, oh, here's the 3rd stringer. I can tackle that dude. And then Nick Chubb runs out.
Well, the good thing about running backs is you're going to need a couple to get through a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what about the Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders
Pretty
running
good.
back room?
What about EJ's Miami Hurricanes? The Frank Gore, Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, all there at the same time, I think. And Jared Payton, our guy, who I see Walter Payton's son, who's all over Radio Row. That's pretty good.
Maybe this is going to be like a summer thing for us, the greatest
Oh.
position rooms of all time. All right, well, coming up next, the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the greatest what-ifs and what could-have-beens in sports history. Don't move. We're back with more in just moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's a violin prodigy. Her full name is Maggie the Stallion. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Thursdays at this time, consistently, we do something called the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. It is the greatest what ifs and what could have beens throughout the history of sports. Ryan, hit the music.
Exploring sports' biggest what-ifs and could-have-beens. Let's dive into the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff.
Well, in honor of the Super Bowl being held in Las Vegas, our multiverse question today: what if Las Vegas had never gotten into pro sports franchises? This is really, really new. We're talking about the WNBA. We're talking about the NFL, of course. Soon, Major League Baseball is going to be here, and we expect that the NBA will be not far behind it. But this all happens, Perloff, because of a few court cases that loosened up that allowed sports gambling and sports betting outside of a few select states. So here we are. Sports betting has infiltrated in DraftKings and FanDuel and MGM. They've infiltrated our business unlike anything we've seen. What do you think it would be like if Vegas never opened themselves up to pro sports teams?
So the Raiders, of course, wanted to leave Oakland.
Yep.
And they were playing the shell game with multiple cities.
Yep.
So there was San Antonio, there was sharing San Francisco, Santa Clara, there was Los Angeles, and there was Las Vegas. So to me, I think the most likely one would be San Antonio. So you'd have the San Antonio Raiders, and I think that would be super cool. They'd be like the Cowboy. I don't know. I'd be into that.
Another Texas team is never a bad thing.
That would be my guess, the most likely scenario, because I think they would have left Oakland and gone somewhere else, but nothing too radical. Because San Antonio's been flirting with the team for a long time. Yeah,
listen, as you're here and we're here for this event, I know you've gotten used to the Raiders and stuff, but it is obvious that Vegas is starting to become one of the epicenters for professional sports. They want this, and they're being very aggressive. I think had the rules around sports gambling never changed, the laws rather, I think you're looking at more international cities. I think the NFL, all they want in this world is to go and play football in every large country that we have on every continent. They've got the U.S., right? It's saturated here.
But they're not expanding past 32, though. So do you think, here the real question is, do you think the Raiders or Mark Davis would have gone internationally? I don't think so.
I mean, you don't think if Shad Khan had the ability to put the Jaguars in London full time, he would have done it 5 years ago?
Absolutely. But Shad Khan is not Mark Davis. I don't think Mark Davis was going overseas. And we're talking specifically if they hadn't let the Raiders move here. I could never see a franchise, a cornerstone franchise like that leaving the country. So still, I don't think that I understand your international expansion. I don't think it was going to happen because they need to expand. They need a 33rd team, and they don't want to do that.
I know. I don't understand why, by
I
the
don't
way,
either.
because you make so much money by expanding. I think the likely city it would have been for the Raiders outside of San Antonio is you go to Mexico City. And I know that there's been issues with Azteca Stadium, but there's issues with MetLife Stadium when it comes to the turf. These are things, if you really invest the money, I think you can change. I think there's a huge Raider fan base in Mexico, and the time changes is not bad because there is none. Like it lines up with all of the, with our U.S. time zones. I think it would have been obvious. Now we're talking about the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, what ifs and what could have beens in sports. What if the NFL never came to Las Vegas with the Raiders?
I really don't think it'd be Mexico. I think, first of all, I can't picture Mark Davis taking that kind of radical
Well, let's
step.
take Mark Davis out.
No, but you can't.
I know,
mean,
but
the
NFL can put their influence on teams.
I think you're ignoring the Raiders in this part of this. I think the Raiders were ripe for the picking for Vegas. And I just think you're going to need a real visionary franchise to move to Mexico City because it's not that simple. I think you're going to need somebody who's going to make a radical. I don't see Mexico City happening. I really don't. I think it's far away. I think the altitude's high.
Yep.
I just think it's not Toronto, which is right next to Buffalo. I just think it's too much, and it's going to take.
I know, but Perloff, London is way worse because of the time change and the distance travel.
I'll bet, show bet. I'll bet you London gets one before Mexico
No,
City.
I'm going to agree with you because the breadcrumbs are already been laid, like the track's been laid for that train to leave the station. But I still think that's going to be either a concession the NFL is going to have to make to the players of something they want to, for guys to agree to play home games, all their home games overseas.
I think actually a more likely scenario, if the Raiders hadn't come here, then this would be the first place that would get an expansion team.
Right.
I definitely think. I think Vegas, we're doing this multiverse. I think Vegas was like Thanos. It was inevitable. So I do not. But Mexico City, and I know I keep coming back to Mark Davis, like the Raiders have such a foothold everywhere, and I know they're popular in Mexico City. I just don't see a team like that. So I think that's a ways off. Vegas, we went to a Golden Knights game. The audience is here.
I forgot. Did I say the NHL? They won the Stanley Cup.
We were in that stadium on opening night. I mean, it's gorgeous. So they're doing it right. I can't even wrap my head around this because it feels like Vegas is so established.
Okay, so Roger Goodell was asked about teams moving to Las Vegas at his press conference on Monday. Here's what he said.
I think Las Vegas has also done an extraordinary job with this city, with the ability to host these big events, the ability to attract people here for a lot more than what people used to. People used to say this was just a gambling town. This is an entertainment town.
Yeah, he's right about that. Yep. And, Roger Goodell was also asked, for years, and we're old enough to all remember, for years the NFL was no on Vegas and no on, expanded sports gambling. They didn't think they'd be able to, they didn't want the integrity of the game to ever be questioned. And now Goodell's like, well, the Supreme Court ruled, so we decided to get in bed with DraftKings and FanDuel. There was a time not long ago, remember, where they wouldn't allow Tony Romo to host a fantasy football event in Las Vegas. It created
like
a
6
big
years
story.
Ago.
I know.
Not even that long ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Have you seen the numbers on what they expect betting to be on the Super Bowl? It is... it hit big time. Sports gambling is ubiquitous now, and I know people were doing it illegally before, but the new access, for better or worse, is just made. I saw the handle's going to be up like 200% from last year, and it's crazy.
So the funny part about this, we talk about the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. We do this every week at Thursday at this time, the what ifs and what could have beens for sports. And we're talking about the integrity of the game. They always thought, the NFL always thought the integrity of the game would be compromised if you allow betting to get out of hand. Meanwhile, the betting is crazy right now. It's massive. There are guardrails in place, right? Because there's an idea. You put it out in the open. It's no longer this backroom underground type of stuff. You don't get Tim Donaghy, the rogue referee. But we talk about the script all the time.
I know.
We talk about the referees. We talk about which calls and this and that. The betting is huge. The conspiracy theories are bigger. It's done nothing to really tamper down that conversation about the integrity of the game. We're all still watching. We all still think it's on the level. But we joke about the script and the NFL plays into it. There's a lot of people out there who really think the Chiefs are here because of Taylor Swift, or at least partly.
I think they've survived it so far. I don't think there's real serious talk by serious people that this is fixed. I know what you're saying. Listen, I'm not blind to it. I don't think that. I think they're lucky they have not caught a player betting against his own team, as far as I know.
Betting, though, for sure. Just
betting
not against
for sure.
their own
I know,
team.
but to me, that's a gigantic. And those are silly. So Calvin Ridley did a bunch of parlays.
No, who was it? It was just betting $500,000. Who just got caught
Was
recently?
that college or pro? Keyshawn Booty.
Yeah, right.
But
Keyshawn
a lot of
Boutte,
that was
yes.
a lot of that was college. Yeah, it does. If we do real multiverse here, if they weren't catching these players, that means Calvin Ridley would have been traded to the Eagles instead of suspended.
Stop.
Then the Eagles would not have gotten A.J. Brown. So it
Oh.
actually worked out for the Eagles because they had that deal done.
Yeah.
It is amazing that now that it's all above board, they can actually catch players more. So there is an argument to be made that it's a cleaner thing because you can regulate it. You can see what everybody's doing.
EJ, you had a thought on this? Again, multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. What ifs, what could have beens. We do it every week at this time. We're talking about what if Las Vegas had never gotten pro sports teams.
I mean, I know Perloff makes a great point about perhaps Mark Davis was going to find a way to get out of that terrible stadium in Oakland and leave Oakland behind. But I think there's a chance that Oakland actually ends up keeping their teams at least a lot longer than they did. It felt like once Vegas just was such a perfect fit for the Raiders, for what Mark Davis was looking for. I think it would have been a tougher sell to sell San Antonio or sell Mexico City. I think the fact that, it was almost like how could you not leave Oakland for Las Vegas given the situation that they were dealing with.
Right.
I think Oakland maybe is still a sports town. I don't know if you have the A's being able to leave so easily and so kind of controversially the way they did. I think the Raiders may still be there or may have been there a lot longer than they did. I think this kind of depth of what was a great sports town maybe would have been at least postponed, or maybe it's still alive. Maybe it's still on life support. I really think that perhaps Oakland maybe could have found a way to figure it out. It maybe was a little bit pie in the sky because it saddens me that we're gonna have no Oakland sports teams, and just like 6 years ago we had 3. But I think that really is what would have happened potentially.
Wait, let me ask you a question. If they had stayed in Oakland and this Vegas was sitting here, do you think there's another team that would have jumped? Is there anybody that's close to moving?
Well,
I mean, the St. Louis Rams are the last one to
and the Chargers.
And the Chargers.
Yeah,
I
was
thinking the Chargers.
Yeah, it was a Chargers deal to go to L.A.
Okay,
done.
but here's the thing about the Chargers. Remember, a lot of that was about the stadium. Not to get in the nitty gritty, but the Chargers they couldn't get a stadium built in San Diego.
Same with the Raiders.
No, I know, but the Raiders made it happen. I don't know where the Chargers going to be able to get the funding and all of the.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess they would have, but they're tenants now in SoFi Stadium.
I know.
They don't have a great stadium situation.
No. What about a small market team? I hate to even bring this up.
Don't say Buffalo.
They are building a new stadium with my tax money. Honestly,
you're allowed to go to a board
meeting.
meeting.
The Pagulas. You think that they wouldn't have seen this opening and at least consider it? I've always wondered if Buffalo has flirted with other cities. Toronto was in the mix.
Listen, that was a different owner, but yeah, I mean, no one's ever safe. And honestly, I mean, Buffalo, Las Vegas. What's the difference between those two cities?
A couple the Panthers jumped to mind because David Tepper and Carolina has always seemed like an odd fit.
That's to me. I know this is silly. That franchise still feels kind of new to me.
Yeah, me too.
They're
not. They had a game with 7,000 fans this year. They were in the building against Atlanta.
You have to they black out the whole top of the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, that is football country, though, Charlotte. They should be able to support a team, but it would have been interesting.
The team won one game this year, two
Can
games.
We all agree, though, that Vegas feels like it was going to get a team at some point?
Yeah, and we're talking about the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the what ifs and what could have beens in sports. We do this every week at this time, and today, because we're here in Las Vegas, what if Vegas never got a pro sports team? And the NFL is obviously leading the charge. This baseball thing's going to be wild. They're building it right up against the Strip. It's like Blue Man Group, Carrot Top, Vegas A's.
Well, it's not done yet. I have to actually see a pitch in that stadium to believe that the A's are going to get.
You're going to hit a home run onto Las Vegas Boulevard?
Wait, can I actually go one step back for an unbelievable multiverse? What if the Bills had moved to Vegas and won a Super Bowl, and Maggie would not have had her Buffalo Bills win?
I know. I've thought of this many times.
Yeah.
I already have a contingency plan for if the Bills ever leave Buffalo. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm still going to root for them. I've put in this amount of time. Yes, I've put in this amount of time. I have put 40 years into rooting for the Bills. Because they move cities, now I'm going to abandon them?
There's a single Rams fan in St. Louis or a Chargers fan in San Diego. You have to rip that Band-Aid.
So question, though.
I don't want to find a new team. I don't want someone else to be set to celebrate something that I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into.
But, Mag, you grew up in Binghamton, and I'm not as familiar with Western New York, upstate New York. How close is that to Buffalo?
About 6 hours.
Yeah. But
no, you can still root for them.
Yeah, upstate New York is huge.
Yeah, no, that is too far a distance to say that is your city and the city's
Hold on,
the
wait.
attachment.
Now I got to double check.
But
It
I'm
was
not-
like more like 5, maybe.
But even still, like to me, if it was anything more than 3, I'd say you're good.
I'm sorry, it's 4.
No, you're good.
I'm
But
not in the game since I was a
you
kid.
found them because of Uncle Wayne, famously.
Yes, my Uncle
and
Wayne.
if he abandons them, then you have to abandon them. And I'm sorry.
My Uncle Wayne's never going to abandon them.
Well, if they leave Buffalo, Buffalo will abandon them because I saw the Rams fans. They hate Stan Kroenke and they hate the Los Angeles
Oh, I
Rams.
get it, and they have every reason to. I've worked this out in my brain, and I don't want to. I don't want to leave them.
But by the way, they're building a new stadium in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I think
they're in.
You're fine.
I mean,
And Toronto would have been the real.
and that's barely even a move.
I didn't like that because it was funny at the time. I'm like, why would you go in a dome? The weather is the big, differentiator.
they're very-
And now I would give my right arm for them to play in a dome.
They're very close, right? Toronto and Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an hour or 2
Yeah,
hours. So
just right over the border.
that would have made
I
sense.
mean, I have a brother who is a New Orleans. He was a Charlotte Hornets fan, who then became a New Orleans Hornets fan, who then became a New Orleans Pelicans fan.
Oh, my
and
God.
did not go back to the Charlotte Hornets.
I've been in sports media for a long time. I cannot wrap my head around what happened to the Bobcats. I don't even know.
And then the Bobcats were in there somewhere. He never went back to the Bobcats either.
Well, yeah, what city were they in? I don't even remember. They were Charlotte.
They were Charlotte.
They were
yeah.
Charlotte. Okay, well, that was the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. What ifs, what could have beens? What if Las Vegas never got a pro sports team? How would things be different? Coming up next, WWE World Heavyweight Champion and diehard Bears fan Seth Rollins will be here on our set. He's in the middle of all of the WWE Rock, Cody Rhodes, crazy drama. Also weighs in on the bombshell lawsuit against Vince McMahon and gets very candid about that. Seth Rollins is next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I think this should become a yearly thing here. Seth Rollins, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, stopping by the set as we are at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas, counting down to Super Bowl 58. Seth, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're back, baby. I love it.
Okay, so first things first, you're a massive sports fan. You're from Iowa, and you're a Hawkeyes fan.
Yes.
Okay, how do you feel about Brock Purdy, Mr. Iowa State Cyclones, now getting all this attention?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm proud of him. You know, he still played in the state. You know, yeah, there's a rivalry, Hawks and Cyclones, all that. But at the end of the day, once we move on, we're still proud of him. You know what I mean? We want him to do well.
So you're cheering for Kittle, though?
So I'm rooting for all the Iowa guys to do well. Absolutely. I mean, you guys know I'm a Bears fan, so I don't got a dog in this race. I got a horse in this race. I'm hoping for a great game, and I'd love to see Kittle do well. I'm excited for him.
You're in town. There's big WrestleMania press conference that's happening. Lots going on with WWE, and we'll get to all of that. But you're a Bears fan. This is going to be the story of the offseason.
Yeah.
You realize about what they're going to do with the number 1 overall pick. If you're the GM, Seth Rollins, WWE Heavyweight Champion, do you trade the pick or do you select Caleb Williams from USC?
Oh, my goodness. What I would love to do right now is plead the fifth.
Oh, no.
It's so hard. No, it's so hard. Look, my gut tells me, and this is just my gut. My gut tells me to keep Justin Fields. That's what my gut tells me. Look, I think Caleb is super talented. I'm not sold on the hype. Look, if you can pull a CJ Stroud out of the draft, great. But when that doesn't happen. So I feel like the forward momentum is good with Justin. We're in a great position to add around him and to continue to build next season. Like, I feel like we're a division contender next season. I mean, we had Detroit's number both games this season. We blew the first one, but the second one came through in the clutch. And I think Minnesota, you know, we don't know what they're going to do. Green Bay, obviously fantastic. I got disgusted that they've got another great quarterback. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're going to be in the mix, especially for a wild card position. I feel like if you draft a quarterback number 1, he's coming into his rookie season. And rookies they're not all CJ Strouds. They're just not. So are we going to take us another step back to hope that we take 2 steps forward in the future? I don't know. So I feel like my gut tells me keep Justin, build around him, and make a push next season and the year after, and hopefully for the future.
Dude, are you Mel Kiper? That was pretty comprehensive breakdown, man. You should be
I've been thinking about this. I'm a Bears fan, and I've been thinking about this for weeks.
Seth Rollins is joining us. He's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Bought his belt, of course. All these other cool belts here for the Chiefs and for the 49ers. Awesome, awesome stuff. You got WrestleMania coming up in April. I mean, Lincoln Financial Field. And I'm glad you're here because we have to talk about this. There was a show bet. It doesn't matter what the bet was now. It's long ago. But now it's got to get paid off.
Okay.
And that's me and our producer, EJ, who lost to Perloff, fair and square. And now we have to wear old school high school wrestling singlets to WrestleMania.
Wow.
And sit in the crowd no matter what the weather is in Philly.
Wow.
Now,
that's incredible.
I don't even know if I have a question here. Can you help us get out of this? Is there a ladder you can throw at Perloff or some kind of chair you can bust over his head?
What I will say is maybe encouraging for you. You're not going to be out of place. You're not going to be out of place. You're going to fit right in because there's so many wackos out there that are coming to WrestleMania, and they're going to be dressed in crazier stuff than singlets. Yeah. So no one's even going to think twice about you guys in singlets. And I think you guys would look great in singlets. I think you're going to be fantastic. So I think this is great. I'll be at WrestleMania, obviously, World Heavyweight Champion, and I can't wait to see what this looks like. This is going to be beautiful.
Do you think it's a big stadium? You think you'll notice them out there? Because we don't want to distract you.
Oh no, of course I won't notice. Of course not. You guys will blend right in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With these physiques, I mean,
my only concern, well, not only one, but I have a few concerns. But one of them is this is going to be cold, probably.
We've thought of that.
Yeah, it's early April. Like it's not. I mean, you never know. Could be nice and warm, but chances are not.
Sorry,
Philly.
Seth. Only the NFL controls the weather. I don't know. WWE is powerful, but I don't know if they're NFL weather controlling stuff.
I'm an Eagles fan, and I know that a lot of the fans will not be feeling the weather by the first quarter. That's how we get through years of the Eagles struggling.
Touche, yeah.
So I think that's how these guys are going to get in the singles.
Yeah, the second half of the season must have been brutal for you.
Well, let's move on.
Celebrity Bears fan,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, here on our set, just talking ball. I mean, you mentioned WrestleMania. We're going to be there with the singlets and paying off this bet. We're trying to find a way to get Perloff a double down or something for him to get into a singlet. We're working. We got a couple weeks to figure it out.
Yeah.
But the question is, who are you going to be fighting at WrestleMania? Because this is the big topic. If you follow wrestling, it's been really dramatic, including a heel turn for The Rock that no one saw coming when he basically upstaged Cody Rhodes, or tried to.
Well, that maybe not no one saw it coming. I think some of us with the right mind might have seen this thing coming.
Pardon me.
But look, here, the deal is, I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I've tossed the ball to Cody. I said, look, the World Heavyweight Championship is a bigger deal than the WWE Championship. I'm the guy you should be fighting, regardless of what you think about Roman Reigns and finishing your story. He's devalued that championship so much, and we've built this one up so much that this is the one you want to go for. You want to be the best, man. Come after the best, and I'm the best. So I hope that he makes that decision. I don't know. He's told Roman Reigns, not right now. I think that lends in my favor, but who knows? And if it's not Cody Rhodes, Monday Night Raw is stacked with talent. Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, the entire Judgment Day. I could go on and on and on. There's a lot of people just chomping at the bit to get a crack at my World Heavyweight Championship. I am excited to be able to take this into WrestleMania, and it doesn't matter who's across the ring from me. I'm going to defend it. I'm walking out of Mania World Heavyweight Champion.
The crowd chanting "Rocky sucks." I mean, we haven't seen that in a long, long time. The Rock's been incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Does he win the crowd back? Is he now just heel? What's going on?
Dude, I don't know. I was in the ring for the Rocky
know you
Sucks
were.
chance. If you saw on social or you watched the show, you saw my reaction. That was as legitimate as it comes. I was not prepared. I was prepared maybe for a little "we want Cody." Didn't know if they were going to boo The Rock. The Rocky Sucks ones, whoa.
That's a throwback.
Pew! That hit me, man. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. But I don't know. He's a brand expert. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He knows what he's doing. He'll figure it out one way or another. And I don't know how this is going to sit with him. I don't know if he's just on a level where it doesn't matter to him. He's just going to do what he does. Or, is it easy to take this to heart? Is this going to, he's a passionate guy. Whatever he gets involved in, it's because he's got passion for it. I assume him getting back involved with WWE has a lot to do with his passion for this. So that negative reaction, it might fester. Years ago, now you mentioned years ago when they did this to him, right? When they chanted "the Rocky sucks," they went a little further. There was some "die Rocky die" chants.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was crazy back in the day. But they were "Rocky sucks," and he took it and ran with it, and it's part of what made him who he is today. So who knows? Who knows? I'm excited. WrestleMania season is upon us. So many possibilities. And The Rock is back, and it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all
and
good.
You've had those epic matches with Cody Rhodes. I mean, Seth, we've been following you for such a long time, and we've been fans. April 6th, April 7th in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field. Last one for you. Another controversy in WWE, obviously out of the ring with Vince McMahon, the bombshell lawsuit. Can you imagine what is life like in the WWE without Vince McMahon? With him really out of the picture, do things change for the talent at all?
You know what? Day to day for us, it doesn't. It doesn't. We're so far removed as talent from that stuff. Like it's awful. It's terrible. I hate it. It's a disgusting situation. But we're so far removed from it. Like when we get to work, it's just like, how do we make the show the best possible show we can? Who are we out there with? What's this promo going to be? What's this match going to be? And how do we entertain the fans? Right? Like because that's really what our job is. That stuff, like that's personal stuff. That's business stuff, and that's so far above where we're thinking, where our brains are at. And nothing we're going to say or do making. You know what I mean? We're not going to do anything that's going to impact any of that. It's an awful situation. We're focused on what we do day to day. It'd just be like in any sort of other business structure, right? It's awful, and you feel terrible, and you wish you could have seen it or done something, this and that. But at the end of the day, your job is your job, and that's what we do. We show up and we try to give the people who pay the tickets to come in the best possible show we can. That's kind of our department.
All right,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, WWE Heavyweight Champion, April 6th, April 7th, WrestleMania. You're the man. Bears fan, good luck.
We need it.
I wish you luck, because
what's great?
I don't want you to pass on Caleb Williams and he becomes the next Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not kidding. We're going to say to Mel Kiper in April. So Seth Rollins thinks they should keep Justin Fields because your analysis was that good.
Dude, I hope that I'm right. I've been wrong many, many times, and I'll be wrong many, many times again. But we need it, man. We need some love. We need some good stuff in the city of Chicago. I would love to see a Bears team doing well. It's good for the NFL.
Yep.
Seth, appreciate it. Thank you. Best of luck at
Thank
WrestleMania.
you, guys.
Andrew Bogish is standing by with headlines. Hey, Bogish, good morning.
Hey, guys. Good to see you one more time. Tara Vanderveer, Mike Krzyzewski, now Gino Auriemma. They're the only three Division I coaches with 1,200 career wins. The UConn boss joining the group with last night's 67-34 rout of Seton Hall. He'll pass Coach K with 3 more wins, but Vanderveer's still winning games at Stanford. Gino not counting wins anyway.
When it's over, and whatever the number is at that time, that's what the number's going to be. And if it's a lot, it's a lot. If it's where it is right now, it's still a lot. So I could probably say with a great deal of certainty that I'll never be number one.
Gino got to 1,200 the fastest, 6 seasons ahead of Vanderveer. He's also the only one to get all 1,200 with one program.
Okay, I wasn't sure where we were going with that clip, and now I'm thinking, is he foreshadowing that he's going to retire soon?
My guess is just that because he's behind her, but it's only like 6 or 7 wins.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That he thinks, I think a combination of her not being done and maybe him being closer to done than we knew. Or that we know?
Well, it strikes me that he's never happy. No matter how much success he has.
Yes.
No, that's his thing.
Maybe it's like Saban and Belichick. Maybe that fuels his greatness. It doesn't seem like he's satisfied.
No, I also am thinking, is Gino Auriemma a retirement tour guy? Is he Coach K farewell tour, or does he, like Nick Saban, just sort of drop the mic with people not expecting it?
He seems one of these guys. What's he going to do if he's not coaching?
I don't know. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
college coaches, do you get the farewell tour or not? I mean, the only person in America who foresaw that Nick Saban was going to retire was moi.
Ah, that's how he got here.
Only person in America.
Humble brag.
Just me. No, but
yeah. So Coach K though, I think went poorly. Everyone was kind of making fun of that. I don't think anyone
it's
watched.
Coach K though.
Yeah, I understand, but I thought that was a little too much.
I'll be honest though, we played the clip a couple weeks ago. Remember, he railed on transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this is him foreshadowing I may take a challenge going to the NBA.
Oh.
Wait, who? Gino?
NBA or WNBA?
Yeah. Or both. Yeah, it could be either, honestly. But when I heard this, I would just now. I didn't hear it before. But I was like, this kind of makes sense for what he said 2 weeks ago when he just completely was like you can't build relationships anymore. You can't build programs anymore. And he's kind of getting passed up when it comes to building programs in college basketball. I mean, what they have down in South Carolina. Of course, we've seen the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. LSU.
Do you think that Gino Auriemma would get an NBA job before Jay Wright?
I don't think Jay Wright.
Jay Wright, I don't know if he's. I think he's had offers.
I don't know if he wants one.
Or would take one, or would be in the NBA before Jay Wright would.
I'd probably not, but I'll say this: if Jay Wright was kind of wishy-washy, and I think Gino would, I think he would leave next year. I really think so.
Gino's 69. I think his NBA chances, which probably I believe is reported, were close at certain points. That's not happening now. No NBA is taking a first-time NBA coach at 70.
NBA owners do weird things.
They do weird. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about the Hornets. You put anything past them.
You might take Hubie Brown at 70, but he's been coaching NBA for 40 years. You're not taking a guy first time. Hey, rookie, welcome to the
What
league.
about Hubie at 90? Can I offer you Hubie at 90?
Still so sharp.
Razor's edge. What else we got, Bogues?
34-year-old Elena Deladon expected to take time off from the WNBA, maybe skip the entire upcoming season. She is eligible, if she wants to play, for a one-year Supermax deal with the Washington Mystics, and still would be if she doesn't play this summer.
Man, what's a WNBA Supermax? I'll look it up.
That's a newer thing for them. It's still obviously not anywhere near
a $75 Starbucks card.
I was gonna just point out again the inequality.
Yeah, I think it's 6 figures, not 7.
Yeah, I think it's in the $100,000.
The Supermax is $234,000.
Elena Deladon's such an interesting figure because in college, remember, she was at, I believe, UConn, and she left. Played volleyball, and then came back to be a basketball player. And here you have her again, just being like, I'm going to take a year.
Wait, I don't want to.
Joe Flacco.
I don't want to open a can of worms here, but do you think WNBA and NBA players should get the same amount?
No, I do not. I do not.
Because
but
it's just $45 million a year compared to $234.
I get it, but it's $200,000 versus $200 million. It's not a small difference. And no. I believe that the NBA players should get paid more, of course.
Right. I mean, if they did pay...
It's a longer season. They make more money. I get it.
I assume the league would have to fold if you were going to pay.
No, they couldn't afford it. We're not there yet. I mean, I think it's okay for a 20-year, 25 years with the WNBA, if that. 25-year-old league
this year.
That's still growing, that's expanding. The TV ratings are going up. I mean, does everyone want some, would we like more quality in terms of travel and, services like taking care of your bodies and stuff that athletes get, accommodations, housing. But I understand the salaries are not going to be equal.
I wonder if it'll because I think women's college basketball has made a radical move up. I wonder if that'll translate to the WNBA. Women's college softball is also, and women's volleyball. Those 3 sports in college are on fire right now. But for some reason, WNBA, because it's in the summer.
Still growing, though.
I think that's
it is.
Honestly, I think their season is a bit of a problem. And if they get really popular, I think they have to move off the summer.
I don't know how you guys feel. I know a lot of time we're locked in football, but the WNBA playoffs, I feel like the last few years has been red hot
bigger.
Pretty much for them. Like big numbers, sellout crowds. That Liberty Aces finals was pretty big.
It was sold out.
We were in New York, but it was sold out in both places.
But I bet the college final was 20 times.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but I actually like the summer. And I think the NBA will actually start dipping more into the summer because you don't,
Oh, God. I hate that the NBA goes so late.
Oh, no, it has to go later.
I think they either want to start around Christmas and start later or something because there's too much of the NBA that competes with the NFL. If I were them.
Well, I'd rather shorten the season. You guys don't get sick of the NBA by July. I mean, it's the end of June. I think that's a huge problem for the NBA.
I mean, I'd rather compete with baseball than the NFL.
And to me, I think basketball is, I think a lot of people think of it as a summer sport. A lot of people play a lot in the summer. I think it makes sense to be playing playoff games in July. Totally.
Bogish. What else, sir?
Maybe the Clippers, speaking of the NBA, should have stayed on the road. 6-1 on their Grammy road trip. They go home. They lose to the Pelicans last night.
CJ left angle. Pop a 3. Yes! Good!
You do you. Todd Graffanini, Pels Radio. New Orleans a 117-106 win in L.A., ending the Clippers' 4-game win streak. C.J. McCollum scoring 13 of his 25 in the fourth. Kristaps Porzingis led 6 Celtics in double figures with 31 and a 125-117 home win over the Hawks. And the Spurs lost in Miami 116-104 despite 18 points and 13 boards from Victor Wembanyama. The NBA trade deadline is 3 Eastern today. And this, not really surprising, Nick Saban is joining ESPN post-retirement. He'll appear on College Game Day. He'll help with the network's NFL draft coverage and SEC Media Days coverage as well. Most people thought some form of this was coming once Nick stopped coaching, and now here it is.
Yeah, and I guess this probably means Lee Corso might be officially, I mean, they're not going to make an announcement about that, but maybe he officially sort of moves into, sort of off to the sunset.
I'd say 80 feet behind us is Pat McAfee's set, and he's arriving later today. We could ask him.
Yeah, let's stake it out.
Yeah, go through 5-10 security guards. Get close to him.
Bogish, thank you so much. So much more to do here on Maggie and Perloff Show live from the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas. We've got Hall of Famers coming up. We've got one NFL player who has the most unique hobby we've ever seen.
Ever.
But coming up, how much Taylor Swift is there going to be during the CBS broadcast of the Super Bowl? We get the answer to that next. Do not move. More Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. We are here at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and it is our pleasure to welcome in an award-winning sports broadcaster, one of our absolute favorites. James Brown is here, CBS NFL Today. You've brought with you Miss Christina Huntsman, who's the director and executive vice president of the Huntsman Foundation, which is dedicated to mental health and substance abuse issues. Phenomenal cause. We're going to talk about all of it. I mean, James, how are you here? Don't you have a pregame show to be preparing for? The question on everyone's mind, how are you going to handle Taylor Swift? How much Tay-Tay are we getting in your 4-hour lead up to the big game?
So as both of you know all too well, I follow the lead of the director, whatever we see on the screen, or the producer. And I know there's some degree of pushback on that, but here are the facts. She moves the needle, not just in terms of what she does as a major pop star. She's got daddy-daughter combinations that are tuned in that accounted for some 55 million who watched the AFC Championship game over there in Baltimore recently, Baltimore and Kansas City. Prior to that, it was 50 million in the previous playoff game. Look, she gets it done. And many folks, the young folks who are at the set now, don't call him Travis Kelce. That's Taylor's boyfriend who's playing football. So, it's real.
My granddaughters were watching all to get a brief view of Taylor. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you've done 30 years of Super Bowls or more. Do you remember a non-football story that has hovered over a Super Bowl like this? I've tried to think of one.
You know what? And I've been blessed to cover a number of sports. I remember we did the Super Bowl in New Orleans, San Francisco, and Baltimore. And when the lights went out, I was just hoping that it wasn't terrorist related. So that was a pretty big story about that. And I put my news hat on then. I was thinking about Reggie White, God bless him, when he was in search of his Super Bowl trophy and he finally got it with the Green Bay Packers. Nothing compares to the Swift impact. Make no mistake about it.
Okay, James Brown joining us, of course, CBS Sports NFL Today. Miss Christina Huntsman is the director and executive vice president of the Huntsman Foundation. We get into all that. Mental health, substance abuse. You've dedicated your life to this. Why?
Yes. You know what? We watched our father dedicate a lot of his life to finding a cure for cancer and building the Huntsman Cancer Institute. Our generation, we are focusing on mental health and substance use disorder. I lost my sister over 15 years ago to a drug overdose. She was my best friend. We were 17 months apart, mom of 8 kids, and you think that doesn't happen in families like ours. But when she died, we didn't put it on her obituary. We were not ready to share that story, but we are ready now. Our family has given a gift of $150 million to partner with the University of Utah, which is a leading researcher medical institution. So we will have, we have the Huntsman Mental Health Institute on the campus there. We're breaking ground for research building. We want cutting-edge research on what is going on in our brains. This is behind every door in America, mental health and substance use. And as we've watched our family deal with cancer, when you go into the Huntsman Cancer Center, you are greeted with love and dignity and beauty, and we want that same thing. We are opening a 24/7 non-refusal center for people to go for mental health issues. We want people to be treated with love and dignity, and especially with substance abuse. You know, that hits close to home for me. I remember checking my sister into detox at night in the back doors, and it's dark, and there's so much self-stigma that she had on herself, but you're afraid to even ask for help because of that stigma. Stigma is the number one reason that people do not get help. And so it's breaking down those barriers and letting people know that there is hope, there is recovery, there are things out there to get people the help that they need.
Yeah, I mean, I turned my life around in 2005 with that very same thing, and now I have daughters who are 13 and 11. We used to text about, we're worried about this. Fentanyl has become a topic with everybody. There are a lot of parents who are afraid that, you know, things are not getting better overall.
Right.
I think there's more of a need now than ever.
I'm a mom of 7 kids, 13 grandkids, and, you know, you have to have those hard conversations because you don't know anything can happen on any given night. And so thank you for sharing your story. And our family is just honored to be partnering with JB, and he is lending his voice to a very important cause. And so we want people to know that you are not the only one. This is normal, and this is okay. We don't know what's going on behind our brains. And sometimes, I mean, I look at my sister, she's just numbing the pain that she's in, probably from an undiagnosed mental health condition. So let's get people help on the front end. We have 988 out there. That is a resource. You can get help immediately. NAMI is in every single state, and they have resources that you can, you know, that are available 24/7.
And if I could just coattail off of what Miss Christina just said, Andrew, can I just say thank you for being very honest and open about it? Because people who listen to the two of you and see you guys as stars they'd like to be, like so many young people, but so many young people who aren't feeling emboldened to be able to speak to these issues, and we need to be able to direct them properly. I've been very selective in the cause-related spaces that I've been in, including domestic violence, including speaking out in terms of all forms of social injustice, including anti-Semitism and the like. This, I'm extremely pleased because of the personal stories that I've heard, and her family having been involved in this for over 30 years, the role model that her father was, and for you to talk about it. And I don't have the permission from one of my family members yet to talk about it because I knew about it some 40, 50 years ago when a significant family member took her life as a result of that. But I had to get permission from the family member directly responsible to that. But it touches all of us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see real-world miracles, recovery is where you actually see miracles.
And if people want to go feel uplifted, go to a recovery meeting, go to an AA meeting, and lend your voice to those people to say, you are here for one more day. And sometimes you go hour by hour. So thank you.
You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank
James
you.
Brown, of course, Miss Christina Huntsman, again, Director, Executive Vice President of the Huntsman Foundation, and James Brown, award-winning broadcaster. Okay, last thing. Are you going to be thinking about how many people are watching you? You've done this before.
But more fans with Taylor Swift now. It's going to be the biggest audience you've ever had.
Your Swiftie audience is going to be there. Do you ever allow yourself to envision how many millions of people are watching you at any given moment?
Thankfully, before I got into the business, I recognized that would be focusing on the wrong thing in terms of what my responsibility is. My high school coach, who had a tremendous impact on me, building on what my parents established as a floor foundation of excellence in the family, focus on the main thing. My high school coach used to say there's no such thing as new fundamentals. Fundamentals are tried and true. Master those, internalize those. If I think about the audience, I'm heading down a slippery slope and I won't be doing my job well. And I'll never forget, quick story to make that point too, Meg. I was working my first NCAA basketball championship game. I was a sideline reporter, and I prepared my 45-second report tightly to be able to deliver. Brent Musburger was our lead play-by-play and host at that time. 2 minutes before we go on air, the consummate journalist that he was, coming from the newspaper background, he said, JB, I just found out a significant story that relates to this game here. Here's the story. Fashion that into a 45-second story. Wow. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is my first time doing that. But I focused on the fundamentals again and delivered it. So this is a profession that we're all in, but I want to make sure that I'm well prepared and have my co-hosts be the stars. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are you going to do a dad joke with a Taylor Swift lyric? Are you going to say, can Brock Purdy shake it off? Or is there any song lyric?
Hey, I happen to have a 25-year-old writer, Sammy Smith, who keeps me relevant and hip, because there ain't nothing hip and relevant about me, but he makes it happen. So, yeah.
James Brown, Miss Christina Huntsman, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Mount Rushmore NFL studio hosts. I got it.
Oh,
James
boy.
Brown, Brett Musburger, Bob Costas. Costas did NBC for a long time. Who's the fourth? We got buddies Kirk Menefee, Rich Eisen, who are great, but they're not not ready for Mount Rushmore.
Wait, we're just doing CBS?
No.
Or you're just saying studio?
All time.
Of all time? I mean, Chris Berman.
Yes.
Yeah, did he do the same thing as James Brown?
Well, that's a pregame show, but Chris Berman was doing a studio show, which was NFL Primetime. That's my childhood.
He also did do Sunday NFL Countdown.
Yeah.
Did he in NFL Countdown? Yeah.
So then, yeah.
I think Berman for sure is on mine.
Saw Brett Musburger walking around yesterday, Radio Row.
This is his town.
Man.
This is his town.
Still the man.
Coming up, Hall of Famer Rod Woodson. What went wrong for the Ravens in the AFC Championship game, and what does this mean for the Chiefs in Super Bowl 58 as they go up against the 49ers? Also, some Pittsburgh Steelers talk with the great Rod Woodson next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. See, these are the cool things that we get to do when we come to the Super Bowl. Talking with Hall of Famers joining us right now. Rod Woodson is on the set, Super Bowl champion. He was the Defensive Player of the Year, the 8-time All-Pro. We'll go on and on and on. And Hall of Famer, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
On behalf of NFL Alumni Health, which you teamed up with the DEA on a One Pill Can Kill public health campaign. It's really important. We want to talk about that in just a moment. But we were just chatting offline, and you do radio commentary for the Baltimore Ravens, which was, of course, one of the teams you played for, won a Super Bowl with. That game, the AFC Championship game, Rod, I hate to bring up old business,
right?
But what happened to the Ravens?
It was a head scratcher, right?
Well, you will be able to tell us better than anyone.
Oh, well, it was a head scratcher for me in the booth. I just I couldn't say it during the game. And I love Todd Monken. I think he is offense coordinator for the Ravens. He has done a tremendous job of getting Lamar involved in the game plans, making the game plans, making checks, throwing the football outside the numbers, making plays, becoming comfortable as a quarterback in and out of the pocket. But that game, they led the league in rushing attempts through the regular season, and only have 6 rushes to your running backs in the game. Head scratcher. I just didn't understand it, and I don't know if it's they were just they were stacking the box, and he made the checks, and those were checks, which they did. They did stack the box, and they basically said, okay, well, let's see if you can beat us throwing the football. But it's hard to win throwing the football when you commit multiple penalties, which I think they had 8 or 9, and some of those penalties were the 15-yard type, not the 5-yard penalties, in critical moments.
Personal,
personal
guys,
fouls and
like
whatnot,
kind of getting out of your head.
Even Zay Flowers, who's a great kid, he's going to be so good in the National Football League. For him to stand over the individual DB to have taunting, that's not who he is. He's never done that. He will never do it again. It happened in the moment for him right there, and for him to dive over the goal line and to get the ball punched out. It never happened to him through the regular season. So it was frustrating to see them go to their biggest game of the year and play their worst game almost of the whole season for them offensively. Defensively, they didn't play great in the first half.
Yep.
They played great in the second half. But I still had a question, how do you let Travis Kelce leave the line of scrimmage and you don't touch him ever? I'm not going to let that happen. As a defense coordinator, you got to take the number one read away, which is Travis Kelce, make them go to Pachenko, make them go to Rice, make them go to somebody else. But you're not getting Kelce. What, I think he had 10 or 11 receptions in that game, something like that.
Is it possible they fell down by 10 points and they didn't have a lot of experience playing from behind this season? Is that something that a team might need to be able to?
No, I just think – I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm curious.
I don't think that is the case because 10 points is nothing.
Yeah.
They were acting like it was a lot, though.
Well, but if you go from the very first drive, 3 pass plays and out.
Yep.
Well, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was in that booth, and we all looked at each other like, they're going to throw the football today? All the time? Like, that was surprising to us. That was really surprising to me because that wasn't their game plan in any of the contests. It wasn't a game plan against Houston. It wasn't a game plans against any other teams they played during the regular season. So it was a little confusing that how that becomes a game plan in the biggest moment, in the biggest game, or the other games, it wasn't that it wasn't those type of game plans. And that was surprising to me.
Rod Woodson is joining us on the set. He's the Hall of Famer, of course. He's here on behalf of NFL Alumni Health. They've teamed up with the DEA on a One Pill Can Kill public health campaign. It's a conversation we have to be having right now. We definitely want to have it. I mean, just wrapping up again the AFC Championship game. Do you think that the Chiefs got in the heads of the Ravens? The stuff with Justin Tucker before the game is kind of silly with the kicking the tee and stuff, but Travis Kelce trying to bait Van Noy into some personal fouls. Do you think that the Chiefs went in and got under the skin and in the head of the Ravens?
Because if you follow the Ravens,
they're the bully.
Yeah, well, if you follow the Ravens, Tucker always warms up on the opposing team side. For whatever odd reason, I was like, when I first saw it 2 years ago, I was like, man, I would not let him freaking warm up on my side of the field. Like, but teams do. Wow. Kansas City said, no, you ain't warming up on my side. This is our side. Get your butt to your side. So I get it. I get that. I don't think that was a factor at all. I think Kelce did bait a little bit with Van Noy and just kind of laughing and joking around and when he did all the pushing initially. So, but at the end of the day, you can't get emotionally hijacked. You can't be selfish as a player and respond to somebody inside of that contest because the second guy always gets seen. It's not the first guy. It's the second guy. It happened. They moved the ball. It didn't kill him, right? It didn't kill him, but it did move the ball up, right? I think will grow from this. They're either going to grow or they're going to fold. Right. I don't think they'll fold.
Rod, this week you kind of provided some lessons for the Niners. Get a body on Travis Kelce. Don't give up on the run. Do you think the Niners will learn from what happened to the Ravens against the Chiefs?
Yeah, listen, I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive coaches that I've seen in quite a long time. He has taken his father's system, that West Coast system that he used, and does a lot of pre-snap motion. So now he's going to see if Kansas City's in man, if they're in zone. And he can now make plays and make his adjustments. They got the best running back in the National Football League, talking about the 49ers in 23. He can play, man. And I think they'll find the matchups. They got playmakers across the board. All Purdy has to do is like he's been doing all year long. Find Ayuk, find 23, find Debo, find Kittle. Let them go make plays. Defensively, they do have to play better. They have not played great football in the postseason. I just don't think they're going to play 3 bad games in a row. They played 2. They got away with it. I just don't think they'll play 3. And I think if they play the way they're capable of playing on defense, like they did all year long, and Purdy, the game manager, right, plays lights out like he's been playing all year long, I think they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just so the audience knows if you're listening, Rod just put air quotes around game manager. We can tell what you see about that. Rod Woodson, the Hall of Famer. I can tell because we're on all over the country, of course, but Steelers country. People are probably driving around in their car saying, you have Rod Woodson. Ask a question about the Steelers. Stop asking about the Ravens. Okay, Steelers, this was a really unique season.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, thank you. We don't generally see things sort of spill out. I mean, no team's immune from it, but there seem to be a lot of big questions being asked of the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger was critical, says a lot of the traditions, that you had, that were passed down from generations, they're just not there anymore, and that there's not the same type of Steeler mentality or way. Is that what you see?
It is on defense still there. T.J. Watt, Highsmith, Minka, all those guys still have it. You still see that swag. You still see that flying to the football, old school football, cleaning up the piles. You still see that. Offensively, I don't know who their leader is. Every time I see a team, every time I see a side of the ball where there may be some turmoil, I always ask myself, who's the leader? Where's the leader at? Can't be a coach. I don't want to hear it has to be Mike Tomlin. Players have to take ownership. So who's the leader on offense? I have no idea.
Should it be Pickett?
Quarterbacks don't always have to be the leader.
Okay.
It could be somebody else. So who is the leader? Who is speaking up in those critical moments saying, stop it, look, we're done. You keep this up, we're going to go in that locker room, do we scrap it?
So they say they're open to trading for a quarterback. What do you think about bringing in a veteran?
Kirk Cousins.
That's your guy?
That's my guy.
Coming off an Achilles tear.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. He can't run anyway. Right? Dan Marino couldn't run. But and Kirk can throw the football. So throw the football, get a guy in that's a veteran guy, let him distribute the football to their playmakers, because they do have playmakers on offense.
What about Russell Wilson, if he became available?
I'm not sure what type of system Russell needs. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I know Kirk can throw the football, and I know. Listen, I love Russell Wilson. How much does what's the salary cap? How much money they owe? I mean, that all goes into it. I think Kirk Cousins is reasonable, where he could come in and play for him.
Rod Woodson joining us. You teamed up with NFL Alumni Health. This is important. They have teamed up with the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, on One Pill Can Kill. It's a public health campaign. Why is this near and dear to you?
Well, first of all, my oldest son had an addiction when he was younger. Yep. He got through it. But looking at where we're at today with the deaths that are happening through non-prescription drugs, where we're getting this stuff on social media, and you have to understand, if it's not your licensed doctor, if it's not your licensed physician, it's not real. If it's on social media, it's not real. You don't see the big drug companies on social media advertising their drugs, their prescriptions. It's not real. And what's happening is that a lot of these cartels are starting to lace a little of their drugs or their prescriptions with fentanyl, and you only need 2 grams. 2 little specks, which is it could be on the top of your pencil. It can kill you. And it could be casual guy to say, let me try it one time. And they die. And I'm fortunate that my son got through it, that I don't want it to be a statistic. The parents or families and friends, they don't wake up one day and their kid or their friends not breathing.
It's an amazing thing to lend your celebrity to, and your platform, DEA.gov/onepill, is where you can find more information.
Absolutely.
Rod Woodson, the Hall of Famer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can tell that the effects of last night and your marinara hangover is starting to really set in. Of course, you guys don't drink, Perloff and EJ I'm talking about, but you went out for such an amazing Italian dinner last night. It's like you've got a penne alla vodka hangover.
Yeah, it had a Last Supper vibe. I honestly, we had this
Hope
private.
Not the ending.
We had this. Okay, there's a lot of media types, former NFL players in this restaurant, and they all thought they had the private room. Then Sully knew the owners.
Yeah, our pal Sully, who's here helping us.
Yeah, we were in the real private room. So we walked out of the back room that is just for basically the dons. And we were the men in this restaurant. They just brought plates of A+ food. It was incredible.
And by the way, I feel like I'm basically still looking at the world through a tint of red, because the lighting was dimmed in this weird red tint, kind of like you would see in quite frankly, one of these mobster movies.
Well, literally, the restaurant you guys went to called Piero's was from the movie Casino. They shot a scene there, a famous one. And so, okay, you guys went. I didn't go to this one because I would have fallen asleep in a bowl of spaghetti. There's no chance I could have hung and hanged with you guys. So I went to the website, and I'm going through the menu. And EJ goes, or Perloff, you go menu. They were just bringing us food.
I didn't know there was a menu. What's on there?
Everything you'd ever want is on there. But you said the ossobuco, and then we got into a discussion about, do you order steak in an Italian restaurant?
Yeah. So our
Which
friend,
you guys did.
Our friend of the show, Sully, all orders the New York Strip in an Italian restaurant. Because I was just talking to Brady Quinn about that. You order veal at an Italian restaurant, or fish, or something that you can't get elsewhere. I tried Sully's steak. It was unbelievable because Piero's gets like the best cut. But I had the star meal. I had a veal chopped Parmesan that was how big was it, EJ?
It was the size of, I don't know,
an NBA basketball.
Yeah, or I was gonna say like a frisbee.
Oh gosh.
Unfortunately, they had this thing called a garbage Caesar salad. Sounds bad, right?
Right.
It's a Caesar salad with shrimp, avocado, calamari, and all these things in it, and it's the best thing ever. And apparently, they started at Piero's, and now it's a dish that's spread all across the country.
Okay, Perloff went to the Westgate Sportsbook to get the props list. Like, they actually give these out on paper still. Literally marinara sauce on the props, the point spreads, all this stuff. How did you get this Italian food? This is a mess.
It's so Vegas, too, because a waiter gave me this. He's like, I was just at the Westgate. Here's 35 pages of props.
A waiter gave you that.
Yeah. And they all have the inside intel. I have no idea what happened. We lost. There was a certain point that cannoli arrived, and it got out of control, Maggie. It got out of control.
It got so bad that then Zach Gell was confusing rice pudding for what was it? Not cannoli. Creme brulee. Creme brulee comes out, and he's dipping it into the rice pudding. He's like, "Oh, this is creme brulee, right?" And we're like, "Dude, have you been drinking? What are you talking about?"
Too many scotches. Well, I'm jealous of you guys. Now it's 2 nights in a row, but last night I was the one who bowed out. We had been up for 20 straight hours, and I just couldn't hang anymore.
So tomorrow's our last day here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Are you going to blow it out tonight, Maggie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Maggie, there's some pressure on you.
Well, we have a big press conference that we have to attend later. We're going to the WWE WrestleMania press conference. We've got many more people to meet and talk to around here. So what should I do the last night? What are we doing? Are we going out?
I don't know. Why do I have to go to the wrestling press conference? I was going to ask you guys that. What's going to happen here?
You don't have to, but you could interview The Rock.
Yeah.
That would be the...
No, I think I've talked to...
We can't guarantee that.
Everybody in the city is going to this WWE press conference. I'm not quite... It's a T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, but it's been the biggest story on the internet for the last week.
I know, and The Rock's going to be there. Are we going to talk to The Rock?
We're not sure.
That's the hope.
That's why we're going.
Well, I don't want to miss. Talk about fear of missing out. I am not going to miss a conversation with The Rock.
Well, we can't guarantee it. These things are all fluid until 2 seconds before. So you just got to be ready if and when these kinds of things happen. Wait, I'm getting dragged in our chat. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Jay Hookham said, "Did Mag just say a la vodka? LOL. Isn't that how you say it?
Penne a la vodka.
A la vodka.
Penne a la vodka. Yeah.
Right.
That was there last night, too. It was amazing.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have anything that was bad. I just think it's funny. We've talked about food comas, but you guys don't drink, and you felt like you had a food hangover.
I'm still fighting.
And you're still in it.
I'm still fighting. I'm like...
You want some Advil? I don't even know what to give you for this. Pepto-Bismol?
Yeah, Penne a la vodka. By the way, and I was coming straight off my shopping trip with Bryant McFadden, former NFL player, CBS Sports, Sully, and the sneaker supplier to the Stars. It was a whirlwind night.
Sick invite, by the way.
Yeah.
EJ out in the cold.
Perloff literally was like, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. I'm like, where are you going? I'm just going to go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was literally how you dipped out. And we should have known when Bryant McFadden was involved because he might be one of the most stylish people in media. And so when he and Sully left and Perloff's like, I got to go, we should have known they were up to something.
I know. And now I'm upset because Sully's been saying he wants to take me to that shoe plate, that same sneaker spot. And I feel like Sully would have invited me.
He would have.
Yeah, it was Perloff who was like, you go there, I'm going to go.
Perloff, why no invite for EJ for the sneaker place? And by the way, Perloff's now a sneakerhead. What kind of unforeseen event is this?
Because I have so much territory to catch up in the sneaker front that I need an advantage over EJ.
You wear running shoes.
Yeah, I know. I wear right because I have ankle problems. They provide stability, Maggie. I already told you that.
Wait, so what's going to happen with these fancy shoes that you bought? Are you going to have to wear your ankle braces with those?
Yeah, I tried the ankle brace fits. But EJ, I already got.
It might kind of mess up the look.
So there's like a 10% chance of precipitation. I'm like, I'm not wearing them. Like,
no, that's the right move. Yeah.
So what? I'm already panicked about them. I'm treating them.
Well, look,
more carefully than I did my 6-month-old child.
Yeah, and we live in New York City, so even non-rainy days, you better be careful where you're walking. Cause
you got to get a toothbrush, and that's how you clean them, right?
Oh yeah. Why? Now we're getting deep into the weeds. I have a special brush and a special wash. So I don't even need the toothbrush. But yeah, it's like a toothbrush, but if it was like larger. So
got it.
You gotta hook me up.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah, I'll find
it's not like sharing an actual.
That
toothbrush.
I did share the story. My 13-year-old daughter has these fake Jordan 4s, and that's apparently that is a gigantic industry.
The fact that you didn't know that to me is still incredible. Because we were having conversations off air. You were like, I can get these Jordan 4s for my daughter. I'm like, that sounds great. You're like, yeah, they're $170. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
How much are they normally?
Well, they're all like, they're all sold out. So anyone you're selling them is either reselling them for $400 or you're getting them fake for $140.
Wait, there's a little cherry on top. Not only did we get them fake from somewhere in Hong Kong, my wife's credit card then got stolen the next day.
Yeah,
so,
you had the full experience of.
So we canceled the charge, and then these fake shoes arrived anyway. And she wears them every day, and they're fine. I mean, she's 13. Does she need $500 pairs of shoes? I sound like I'm 100 when I say that.
Fake shoes.
By the way, in the Twitch chat, Cap, not a fan of your sneakers. He said, quote, ugly.
Wait,
I would not wear those.
Pull them up again in front of the camera for anyone new who just joined us. So the color theme is brown, tan, and purple.
Yeah, everyone said earth tones are in right now. Wait, who said that?
Cap.
Like our Cap.
Yes, our Cap.
Oh, okay. I'm fine with that.
Cap doesn't like your swag.
He also said, think this is the definition of a poser when you were talking about like you saying you're going to be a sneakerhead now.
Oh, wow.
Like you just jumping on the bandwagon.
Poser would say I am a sneakerhead. What is Cap doing right now?
I don't know. He was burying you. I thought you should know.
Definition of a poser?
That's what he said.
Wow.
I mean to get this off. He said this like a couple hours ago.
What? I can't believe this.
Because you're not going to... Well, I think we've found a new hobby for you.
I thought so.
You got bitten by the bug. Now you're hooked.
I was until Cap completely destroyed my buzz here. What the heck?
Well, no, but that's the thing about sneakers. You cannot listen to other people. Like, well, you can take the compliments, but there are always going to be people who say, I would never wear those. Those are ugly. But you can't listen to them.
What about Maggie?
Listen, I think what's happening here is everyone's in this major marinara hangover, and you guys don't know which end is up.
Can Maggie get into sneakers? What's the deal with women?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. It's huge for women now, too, especially broadcasters, people in sports.
I know. My wife wanted these $1,000 sneakers. They look like Converse, but they're not Converse. They have a star on them. Does anyone know about these? What are those called?
$1,000.
$1,000. And everyone in Brooklyn has them, and you have to wear them.
Whoa. Did she buy them?
She did not. She asked me for them. Yeah, they look like Converse stars. Anyway, oh my God, what is happening to our country here?
That's okay. Actually, Cap is now offering a retraction. Just jealous of your cool shoes.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
It's going to be copping please out there in New York.
Oh.
Green with envy. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, lots more to do, including never actually heard of an NFL player having a hobby like our next guest. Stunned, baffled, mystified. There aren't enough adjectives to describe how slack-jawed we were when we found this out. You are going to find out about it next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back to Maggie and Perloff. Michael Pittman Jr., one of our absolute favorites, joining us now on the set from the Indianapolis Colts, although now anything's possible. He's here with us on behalf of Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, but I asked what he was doing last week. Not exactly what I thought. Michael has been busy farming in Indiana, and, you know, Maggie's from upstate New York and farm country as well.
Yeah.
So we knew, and I grew up, my grandparents had a farm, but he knows what he's doing, unlike us.
Wait a minute. What are you farming?
Well, we have cows and we have horses. We have an alpaca. We got goats. We got lots of chickens. guinea fowl, and we hatched our first emu today.
Oh,
my
wow.
father-in-law actually FaceTimed me, and I was super stoked for it because those things have to incubate for 55 days. So I've had an egg sitting in there, and I didn't know if it was going to hatch because there's no guarantee, right? So when he called me, I was super stoked, and my neighbor, like in the place I'm staying, probably thinks like something happened, like I won like money or something. But no, I didn't win money. Like my bird just hatched. So.
Wait a minute. Wow, there's a lot there. Do you name any of your animals after like athletes or anything? Like you have an emu, would you name him Gardner Minshew?
So that potentially could be something, but they more have like normal names. Like my alpaca's name is Terrence. And we have we have a goat named Mr. Goat. So like it's more just
a little on the nose, but okay.
Yeah, like names like that. For
People
all
are going to
animals.
ask me, what did you learn Super Bowl week? The first thing I'm going to say is, did you know Michael Pittman Jr. has an emu?
There you go.
And they're like, really? I mean, that's
It's
great.
a good icebreaker.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little football, I guess. I don't know. This is way more interesting. No, let's talk a little football. It was an interesting situation with you guys this year because Anthony Richardson gets drafted. They're giving him this opportunity, but then unfortunately he gets hurt, and you go to Gardner Minshew, and then you end up having this really exciting season, fall a little short of the playoffs, but kept yourselves in it the entire year. When you went from Richardson to Minshew, how was that transition? Because those two guys feel like they couldn't be further apart.
Yeah, I mean, it was seamless because we had that whole quarterback competition, and Anthony ended up winning, and we knew that it was Anthony's team, and then Anthony goes down the third game, and there was kind of like a moment, like just like when I'm standing there seeing him like roll around, like I was like, what are we gonna do now? And then Gardner came in, and he played great. Obviously, Pro Bowl guy. So like that's huge, right? Because there's not a lot of guys that make that. I mean, I haven't made one yet. So that means he's doing something right. And we also got lots of reps because there was that battle. So Gardner ran with the ones for most of camp. So it's Shane. So like I'd say that Shane did a really good job of like preparing us for that situation, like even though you didn't want that to happen, but it's good to prepare for everything.
Shane Steichen, your head coach.
Yeah.
Is it the same offense with either quarterback, or does the offense fundamentally change?
I feel like it's similar, but it definitely does change because you want to play to your guys' strengths, and obviously with AR, I feel like our RPO game is going to be crazy because you got Jonathan Taylor, you got Anthony, we got a bunch of pass catcher guys.
Yeah.
So like I think that'll be the most dangerous part, but we also ran a lot of that anyways too, and Gardner did a great job. And I would probably say the best thing about Gardner is his ability to create out of broken plays. He's always keeping his eyes like downfield, and he's very exciting to play with. He's always fired up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say enough like good things about him.
I have a feeling he's going to drive by in his RV and see the emu at some point. Like that would make perfect sense.
Honestly, that's a sitcom or something, a Super Bowl commercial. I don't know. Let's give some ideas. Michael Pittman Jr. is here on behalf of Toyota. Got a really fun event happening around the Super Bowl, which we'll get to in just a moment. All right, the one thing that's really been a constant for you, it's kind of a cliche since you've been to Indy, is change.
Yeah.
You had 3 different head coaches by my count: Frank Reich, Jeff Saturday, and now Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
We tried to go back through all the quarterbacks you may have caught a pass from in the last 4 years, and tell me if I missed anybody. We've got Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson. Did I miss a Jacob Eason or something?
Yes.
Okay.
So Jacob Eason actually, the Rams game in 2021, Carson got a double ankle sprain from Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a perfect look at it. Like I ran this like spot route, and I see Carson running, then all of a sudden I just see 2 arms come above him and grab. Like it was scary. Like Aaron Donald was a monster. But so Jacob actually came in and finished that game out for us. Unfortunately, we didn't win. But
okay. Well, the reason why I brought this up was not just to go down memory lane. But we want to ask you some questions, and you can tell us which of these quarterbacks best fits or best answers this question.
Yeah.
So out of all those guys I just named, and we're here with Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indianapolis Colts, who throws the most catchable ball?
Well, let me preface this with I love every single quarterback
you
I've
love
ever
everybody.
played with.
Yeah. This is not going to be taken out of context.
You guys are all great.
Yes.
And I love you guys.
And the transcript of this interview will show that you praised every one of these QBs. Don't worry, you're not in trouble.
But I would probably say Phillip. Phillip had great.
Phillip Rivers, yeah.
Yeah. He was obviously the most vet guy like that I played with. And his ball placement and his anticipation, I felt like, was on another level. But he's also a Hall of Fame level guy, so I expect to see that pretty soon.
Who had the best arm?
Oh, they all. I mean, they're all super arm talented. I would probably say it's probably between Anthony and Carson in terms of arm talent.
Who gave the best pump up speech?
Oh, I would probably say Matt Ryan or Phillip.
Okay. Who was the most poised in a big moment in a big game situation?
They all got poised to them, but I mean, you got to go with the vets. Again, it's Matt and Phillip.
Okay.
You didn't ask who is the strongest, who's going to win a race, because that's going to be Anthony.
Oh, yeah, no, Anthony's going to beat them all when it comes to that stuff.
He might beat the whole team.
Yeah.
Okay, and who, now that we know this about you at the farm, I'm going to add another question. Who would you most want to be working a 12-hour day with you on the farm, taking care of all of your goats and emus and alpacas?
Carson for sure.
Carson Wentz, why?
Oh, yeah.
Because Carson is a big outdoors guy. And we actually do a lot of stuff still. He actually texted me to come out and hang with him, but I'm here doing this. So
you could be with Carson Wentz right now, feeding goats.
Gave him a rain check. So like I said,
Stiff arm.
See you later. Like I'm going to the Super Bowl. So
I'm going to Vegas instead of the farm. I get it.
We're talking to Michael Pittman Jr. So free agency is here. I was doing some research on which teams might be interested. Obviously the Colts. 31 teams apparently need Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah. If you read
it's
online,
all receiver. Every fan base like, you know what? We could use him. How are you approaching this period?
Yeah, it's kind of just like a slow thing. I'm not really too focused on it. There's been a little bit of back and forth, but nothing really serious. There's still lots of time. And I've just been leading on guidance of guys who have been through this situation, because obviously this is my first time. And just don't I don't want to say don't expect too much, but just in terms of the speed of the process and getting everything done the way that I think it should be done, and just kind of flow with it and hear both sides and just kind of feel it out, and don't rush into anything, because this is one of the biggest decisions of my career. So just taking it slow. A
wise man once told me, approach NFL free agency like you're waiting for an emu egg to hatch.
There you go.
Same thing.
There you go.
Same.
Incubating the same. Michael Pittman, on behalf of the new Tacoma, which is being unveiled, the Tacoma 2024. I'll get a question about that in just 1 second, but you know who Michael Pittman played with in college? One of your all-time favorite wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, when you guys were both together at USC.
I keep telling Maggie he is cool.
He is.
Yeah.
He does a lot of quirky things, but he is an absolute stud. And from the second that I met him, I just knew that he was going to do great things. Yeah. I mean, he's so determined and so focused in all of his routines and stuff. He doesn't mess around. He's business, and I feel like it shows.
Yeah.
So when something happens like the NFC Championship game, right, which is heartbreaking if you're on the Lions side of things, is this someone, do you call and reach out, or do you kind of let it sit and maybe wait a couple days or weeks for him to cool off, or maybe for the emotions not to be so raw?
No, I mean, I texted him afterwards and told him that he played great, because I don't want to say that I mentored him, because we were close in age, but being that older guy, in our room, I felt like I kind of took care of those guys, him and Drake.
London.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the USC wide receiver room.
Yeah, so I texted him, told him that he played great, and then I also texted him when he made his All-Pro, and then he ended up making the Pro Bowl, but, I mean, he should have been in there, off of the first selection, but he played great, and I'm just so proud of him.
Why Toyota? Why the Tacoma? Why was that a good fit for you?
I mean, have have you seen that truck there? It's that thing like is a beast. I mean, like they got it over there like in the sick like purple look and everything that it can do. It's they have their Trail Hunter model here, like which is like the ultimate like off-roading thing, and you could use it for off-roading or you could take the kids like to soccer practice. So like it's very, very like dynamic, and I feel like I'm dynamic. So like you know like there's like, and they have this really cool thing set up here. They got this NFL or the Super Bowl experience where they have this obstacle course set up. So it's similar. It's like a trail, and you can go on there, and they got these really cool prizes that I'm going to be doing soon. And I think that their top prize is Super Bowl tickets to Super Bowl 59. So I'm going to be looking for those footballs and see if I can win me Super Bowl tickets.
Well, hopefully you'll be playing in the Super Bowl wherever you land.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman Jr., a man of many talents. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We learned a lot about farming today.
Yeah, if you want to name that emu Maggie or Perloff, our names, that'd be fine.
You could send us pictures. Yeah. We can keep track of it on our show. Maybe this is something. Okay, thank you so much, and congrats on a great year.
All right, you can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone all season long. You can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. We have a real quick, important birthday shout out, 29th birthday to our friend Dan in upstate New York. Want to get that out.
Andrew Bogusch is standing by with headlines. Hey, Bogues.
Hey, Maggie. Hey, Pearl. At some point soon, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift will advance their sham relationship by getting married. And if they want to do it while in Vegas, they've got options, including Las Vegas cannabis weddings. The drug-dealing, vow-taking mashup hold ceremonies at the world's largest dispensary, Planet 13, on the Strip. And nothing says romance like getting married in front of weed plants growing in rows under heat lamps behind you.
Oh, man. I'm sensing more bogus jealousy about Vegas now. That sound extra excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would marry Travis Kelce anywhere, but in Vegas with weed surrounding us and a heart-shaped cutout sounds the best.
Listen, if you're going to get married in a weed dispensary, you got to lean in. You got to be serving, like, cookies and brownies. You've got to have all the finger foods, like whatever people eat when they're stoned, just lots of Funyuns. I don't know, going back
Instead of steak or chicken they offer, do you want Doritos or Cheetos?
Would you like Cool Ranch or Original?
Yeah.
That's
There's
the
a
options.
new purple bag that's really good, actually.
Taco Bell.
And just tons of Gatorade.
Oh, wait.
By the way, do we think Taylor or Travis are stoners?
Yeah.
Oh, man, in this day and age, it's so much more ubiquitous than it was, and so much more prevalent than it was.
Related topic. This was a big issue. I don't know if we brought this up yesterday. We went to this restaurant we've been talking about all show, and it was described by someone as a dank restaurant.
Yeah, dank. Good.
Okay. Bogus, did you know this?
Dank is a weed term.
Yes.
Right, but I thought dank meant like something else.
No, that's swag. Swag means bad.
Dank does have another meaning, right?
Yeah, like if you said a restaurant was dank, I wouldn't think that's a compliment.
Right, because it's like dark and moist.
This is an age thing. I think that's rank. Or maybe it's dank. But dank was when I was a kid. Not a kid. When I was like in high school or early college, dank meant really high quality marijuana.
Right, but I thought dank weed, I've heard that. So dank means damp, musty, kind of cold. I thought that was describing the weed. I didn't know it meant good.
Swag was the bad thing. It was that's like when it's kind of gross and
but no, dank is an actual word with an actual definition that got switched into meaning cool weed, but it's not a nice word to begin with.
Right, but sometimes remember when bad mean good? Sometimes we switch things up in the English language.
But does dank, so you could call it dank weed, but then it can be a dank restaurant. That I was not aware of until this week.
I've never used that word to describe anything but marijuana.
Yeah. I thought dank weed was like, because I don't smoke, was some kind of like moist weed.
Well, we aren't, skaters from 1991. So
well, Perloff isn't just sneakers.
Oh, I know. He's so proud of himself.
Hey, Bogus, did you see Cap threw me under the bus?
Of course
you next?
He did.
I assume you're next.
No, I think I like them. I saw them in a picture you posted on social, and then looking on my tiny screen on my iPad, I think I like them, actually. I think I would have bought similar ones if I was there.
Listen, the fact that you are not allowing Bogusch to go on this potential road trip with you is just bananas.
Yes.
You guys have a lot in common. You both think dank means the same thing.
No.
You're
yeah,
now
we're
into
adults
getting into
that
sneakers.
know the dictionary.
You're adults. I mean, this is such a match made in heaven, Perloff. Don't fight it.
Well, first of all, Wemby, I only have to drive if Wemby wins Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And Chet Holmgren's been on fire, so the contest isn't over yet, Maggie.
I know. I'm trying to will this to happen. Do we have other headlines, Bogue?
Let me sneak this one in because it involves a friend of the show. James Dolan reportedly doing something ignorant and short-sighted, which is a rarity for him. That's why it's in the newspapers. Dolan might be preventing his hockey team, the Rangers, from trading a first-round pick before the deadline because the NHL draft is at the Sphere in Vegas, which Dolan part owns, and he wants his team to make a pick during round one in his building, so he may be preventing them from having a better roster just so they get to stand behind a podium and announce a crazy hockey name in June.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defense rests. I
Wait,
mean,
wait,
this
yeah,
is
by the way, on
my
the-
case against Dolan. I think that I have, I think I've slam dunk won this one.
I have no problem with that.
Oh,
wow.
No problem.
Your shoes are stupid.
Wait, who cares? It's a hockey trade. Yeah, I think it's important if you are hosting the draft that you have a pick. You can't the host city cannot have a first round pick.
Do you understand that the Rangers are actually close to winning a Stanley Cup potentially? Like, this is a really good team. They have to do what they need now. Have you looked at a hockey standing?
No, I did not understand any of it.
You just went to a hockey game.
I didn't know the I didn't know the
standings.
So let me get this straight, Perloff. You took James Dolan at face value.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the Rangers were having a dank season. No, actually, I did sort of know that, but still, I think every city. It's not even his city. That's actually a problem. But you can't have the draft in Detroit and be like, wait till the fourth round for a pick.
Right, but you think the people in Vegas, when the Rangers pick comes up, they're going to be cheering, oh, yes, the Rangers. Whoa. Like, you're not going to have any, there's not going to be any reaction. Like, in Detroit, you're right. Or when the Knicks, when they're in the draft and they have their picks, yes, the crowd goes crazy.
Have you ever watched 1 second of a hockey draft in your life, EJ?
Yes, I have, actually.
It's funny because it's right near the NBA draft, too.
Yeah.
They're always, like, sometimes back-to-back days.
Right, but, I do, if it was in New York, maybe for a half second, I'd at least understand the logic. I do not understand that you're having a draft that's halfway across from where your team plays, and you're concerned because you own the building.
Well, also, yes, because James Dolan's never wanted the credit for
I don't
anything that he didn't deserve.
I don't know. I think earlier in the show when Maggie buried Steve Clifford, the Hornets coach, for calling out his players' defense, that's what
I'm going to get banned from another building.
These are just, of all the things that the Dolans have done, this to me.
This one is lower on the totem pole.
The bar's pretty high.
No, for the things that I call Dolan out, was just, a little bit different types of behavior, which also the defense rests on that stuff too. That'd be the prosecution, rather. I'm the prosecution. I rest. This is just Dolan back to his ways. I mean, you could only hold him down for so long in terms of meddling with the team. He's back with full force.
Wait, he had been away from the Rangers?
No, but yes, actually.
He usually leaves the Rangers alone.
Yes, because he doesn't fancy himself a hockey expert, but he's, Jerry West when it comes to basketball, clearly. And he meddled with the Knicks, and EJ knows this with the Carmelo Anthony trade, and it cost them dearly. So
what if this pick becomes a superstar? Then you guys are going to really regret this
It's going to be like a late first-round pick.
Yeah, they're trying to win the cup, but
low.
Enough about that guy. Bogusch, you're the best. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Coming up, Kyle Shanahan. Strong words for the NFL and what's going on behind the scenes because he's not happy.
And EJ has a mock NHL draft. First 3 rounds.
The 1.0 drops after this. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff. This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. It looks like the 49ers want out of the practice facility that they've been given for the Super Bowl. It's UNLV. It's indoors. But Perloff, they had to bring in new turf to put over it, and nobody's happy on the 49ers side.
Wow. Listen.
I read the quotes. Kyle Shanahan at least said we had a good practice. Does this make anybody change their bet on the game?
No, but just to give you a little bit more info on this. So Matt Mayoko, who has covered the 49ers for a long time for NBC in the Bay Area, said publicly the 49ers are taking the high road, but behind the scenes they are furious with how the NFL botched this. The NFLPA weighed in. They said the field at UNLV, quote, isn't nearly up to snuff with what our players deserve. Hopefully we've gotten to a working condition. And the PA president, J.C. Tretter, took exemption with Roger Goodell describing the field as playable. That's not the same as high quality. Whether you think it's going to impact the game or not, it's a clear advantage for the Chiefs to not have to worry for one moment about the field turf they're practicing on.
I can't get behind this storyline. Honestly, I think that it's bulletin board material for the 49ers. Maybe I'm being totally naive on this front, but honestly, I don't want to hear about it. This is football. But get out there and hit somebody.
But don't you think there's a massive disadvantage to a team that is coming off of a bye week that hasn't really practiced the way they normally would? I almost think that maybe if this was an NFC Championship game or divisional game, well, divisional game is different because they had the number 1 seed, but NFC Championship game where you played last week, we say, okay, maybe it's even a short week, you're fine. Here you're talking about it's you haven't played in 2 weeks.
Listen, the other part about this, about the field turf, and the 49ers are upset about their practice, where they have to practice at UNLV. For the players themselves, they will tell you field turf and grass and what they play on is one of the most important things to them. So is this now in the back of your mind for a Nick Bosa who tore his ACL at MetLife Stadium and blamed the turf? Can you go full speed? Are you holding back a little bit? I don't know.
Well, it's already Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, how many more real practices they have? So it seems to me like, knock on wood, we're going to get through this. If you guys,
yes, we're going to get through it.
So it's a
disadvantage.
Niners are a 2-point favorite. If you're not changing the line because of this, then I don't want to hear about it.
So many people to thank. Thank you to EJ Stewart. Thank you to Dan Silverman. Thank you, Dan. Thank you to Ryan Botcher. Thank you to Andrew Kaplan, to Andrew Bogish, Pete Bellotti. Who am I missing? All of our amazing guests, the Weedos, the coffee drinkers. We are back tomorrow to wrap things up from Vegas. See you then.